Hello everyone, welcome to What If Spider-Man Traveled Different Dimensions of DC, Godzilla and Transformers movie. Before we start, please go support MaximAngel for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Spider-Man is a male. Chapter 1, Decision. We found ourselves in a movie theater with TOAA and its brother the Presence. And a celestial portal appeared to take them to an emergency meeting. Celestial, Shadow. Shadow, come on, Mr. the Presence, an old man. TOAA, there is no respect anymore. Shadow, respect is given to those who deserve it, and you know why, right? You and your stupid ideas about Peter not being able to be helped. Many Celestials, if not all, want to help him, and you know that your stupid little rule makes many people hate you. The precinct, we better go, they must be waiting for us. They all arrived at a table where it seemed like they were in the universe. Place center of the universe. The deities present were the Beyonder, Lady Death, Enigma Force, Master Weaver, Infinity and Eternity, Odin, Hades. TOAA, why did they hold this meeting? Everyone but you. TOAA, okay, what topic are we going to talk about? Beyonder, of your incompetence in taking care of the center of the network, plus he admired Spider-Man despite always being rejected by the people he saves and not asking for anything, even he would fall, but putting up with that and continuing to do it, he admired him more plus. TOAA, that's not my fault, it's Julia Carpen's fault. Enigma Force, don't bring that useless girl, you know she's just a mistake. A failed attempt to replace Cassandra, plus he knew it well because when he had the Enigma Force he knew her past and saw that he could be its best user, and he would make sure that happened plus. TOAA, but Infinity, we all know about your failed attempt to make the heroes accept him, and what the result was. Eternity, simple failure, despite knowing everything that happened, knowing his story, they distrusted him, and worse, you eliminated his memory so that they knew Spider-Man for his exploits and admired him, not as much as Beyonder, who had his room full of his posters. Infinity, to get a partner, eliminate all those heartbreaks and betrayals, you are an accomplice. TOAA, but Odin, true, a clear example is Carol Danvers, she left him at the altar, and how he found her kissing War Machine, or am I wrong? He knew about Spider-Man and considered him a great ally, and now he considered him worthy. Even he could lift the hammer, he could rule Asgard, and he proposed it to her, but she rejected it, saying that Thor deserved it. TOAA, and what did your children do? Tell me. Thor called him a threat, even though he helped him in everything, except for your daughter Loki. He erased his memory of how he used him to get things so they could be a couple, and he also betrayed him. Odin, I know that, and I will take responsibility for his actions, but your children will hurt him much more. TOAA, but the precinct, calm down, nobody could have predicted this event. Hades, even if it is true that it is his fault, no one could have predicted that. There are several examples, such as the planet Hulk, the Phoenix, or the Battle of Merlin. We cannot blame him for everything. Lady Death, but what do we do? I'm worried about his life. She knew him well because in every confrontation with death she was present, and even though she never said it, she prayed that he was still alive. The precinct, I have an idea. Beyonder, which one would it be, and I hope it is worthy of your well-being. The precinct, send it to my universe. TOAA, never. The precinct, and what will you do to wait until he wants to take his life like Anansi? Tell me. And if it weren't for the fact that he wanted to stop living but didn't want more to die, he was reincarnated, and not content with that, you also sealed Phoenix's memory by tricking him with Odin. Odin, I have already paid for my sin and asked for forgiveness 1,000 times, and you know that it eats away at me every night. Hades, don't worry Odin, we forgive you, but speaking of your offer, I think so. Beyonder, I refuse. The precinct, I will give you an autographed photo with dedication, and you can watch it on your TV. Beyonder, who said I refuse? I said we accept. They all had anime-style drops. The Presence, what Infinity and Eternity say. Both, We accept, but we cannot imagine ourselves being alone if we find a good partner. Master Weaver, I accept. I hope that crazy and useless Julia reconsiders. Enigma Force, I accept, but before he leaves, bring him before me. He will be my best user. Lady Death, yes, with that he is safe, although Thanos will be sad since thanks to him we are together. The Precinct, I will do it, and you TOAA. TOAA, I would refuse, but it is already decided even if I can interfere. All, you will not interfere. TOAA, I tried. The Precinct, I'll tell you something after I leave with him, you can gather them, okay? TOAA, okay. The Precinct, we can leave now. Hades, my wife will feel bad and cry about what happened and his departure. Odin, I know poor Zeus and Apollo will suffer the wrath of Hestia and Artemis. I still don't understand how they fell in love with him. Hades, simple, they saw his soul, the purest soul. They were not very interested because he was not the only one, but what did surprise them was seeing his life and that he continued to be so pure until I would succumb to hatred. Odin, I understand you now. I don't know what to do. I don't have an heir because Thor and Loki are no longer worthy of being king. Hades, I better leave, besides I will have to report this to my wife and that will end this meeting of gods that lasts a long time. Surely when Hestia and Artemis see this they will beat them for, according to them, conspiring against their property. Odin, I understand since Zeus wanted to kill Spiderman for falling in love with Hestia he felt true pain. Let's go so I can report this to my wife Gondal. Clarifications. The one above OLL showed them his life after the Phoenix. Jessica, Drew, if I believe Clint. Clint, I'll make him the one from the UCM, that is, good vibes, you know, cool. Deadpool and Lady Deadpool did betray him and they didn't know about the script, so simply seeing that Peter would be happy, they didn't even care to read the script anymore. Peter will go to the universe of the presence, that is, Batman, you know. Clint will be like Peter's brother. His family left him. Peter had several girlfriends like Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, Natasha among many. Natasha can now have children because of Peter. Peter being controlled by Otto will be left by all. Peter will discover them, and will not tell them anything. Several girls left him due to lack of interest, but before they were a bit crazy about Peter it would be like several Felicias. Chapter 2, The Farewell. We see a shadow waiting for the most important deities to come until they all appeared in a white room. Shadow, that was decided. The presence, they accepted my proposal. Shadow, great. TOAA, wait, you knew what would happen. Shadow, if all the deities worship Spider-Man, then only your children are the stupid ones. TOAA, don't remind me. The Precinct, okay, I'll bring it. TOAA, I want to know a doubt. The Precinct, what doubt? TOAA, how will you get him a girlfriend? Will you interfere? The Precinct, not who you take me for, besides he will make you fall in love, he will just be like a bee going for pollen. TOAA, but how would you choose one? The Precinct, you remember your absurd plan to give them one day where the power of the heroines multiplies. TOAA, if you laughed you said I was very silly. The Precinct, your idea that they would do it in one day was silly. TOAA, eyes shining then. The Precinct, if I do that, I'll just give you a whole week to grape him, cough cough, I say make him fall in love with you. Shadow, aha, that's why you will weaken Spider-Man to 1/8 of his power, and the girls will increase their power 20 times. The Precinct, no, well yes. TOAA, brother. The Precinct, it's not my fault, you know how it is, and if you get them pregnant you'll be the grandfather of many children. TOAA was imagining his grandchildren all happy until. The Precinct, of course, if he didn't hate you for his memory. I kill all your hopes. The Precinct, don't worry. TOAA, will you help me forgive myself? The Precinct, no, you asked for it. I meant that I will take your place as grandfather, ha 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 ha. TOAA, cried Blood comically no. The Precinct, I was joking, if I could help you, I'd better look for him, that's if you can bring your children, but I'm already leaving with him. The Precinct left there and a very serious TOAA remained. TOAA, you emotionless, bring them. Shadow, okay boss. All the heroes appeared in a white space and saw TOAA. Tony, now how are you going to defend him? He's a murderer. Susan, if the change is for that reason, we leave it alone. That and more comments were expressed, but TOAA remained still and all of them were made to kneel by black chains. Deadpool, but what the hell, Dad, Peter changed, he's not the same anymore. TOAA, of all you having the power to see future events, I can't believe you would let him. Lady Deadpool, if we stopped reading it we were already happy, and when it changed we realized it wasn't worth it. TOAA, silence. The best thing would be to show them the truth, but now there is no chance. I'll make them feel their pain, and several spiders fell from the sky and bit them on the neck. Through the minds of the heroes he showed them the whole truth, however that was not the fun part. The fun part was seeing how they suffered if the spiders not only showed but also felt their pain, each trauma, each wound, each pain they felt it. Everyone cried with sadness and pain, but what was most surprising was seeing Clint intact. Tony, help us Clint, he's suffering too much, I can't take it anymore. Clint, no, we are no more heroes. You despised my best friend, my brother. All the heroes were speechless. Perhaps he said brother. Steve, what do you mean, bro? Clint, after knowing the truth I understood that the heroes were fake and that I made it simple. I asked him for help, and despite everything I did he cried, he forgave me and helped me get ahead. Now thanks to him I have a beautiful partner and a future daughter. Tony, don't tell me that. Clint, yes, I managed to mature thanks to him. I was the only one who helped him, not even his family helped him. Kane, I'm sorry. Clint, nothing, I'm sorry. Now calmer, father, I know what will happen. I found the Deadpool script, and I like the plan. I just asked to go with you. Lady/Deadpool, hey, that's our job. Clint, it was, and I would like to see that face crying with what you will see. Better read. Deadpool and Lady Deadpool were reading like crazy, and Wade was crying and slowly took off his mask, showing his healthy face without anything. Wade, what did I do? He cried and shot himself in the head, while Lady was static. Well, she read that the man she supposedly loves was sleeping with other women. Logan, Wade, your face. Wade, I know, faggot, I know, ha 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 ha. He laughed and cried, what an idiot, how did I think he changed for the worse and proclaimed me his best friend, ha ha ha. I wish I could die, he helped me with my face and everything, but what did I give in return? I only betrayed him. TOAA, you know, Wade, I wanted to intervene but I can't. Clint, can I ask for something? TOAA, tell me, son. Clint, I want to go with him to that world with my family. TOAA, sure, I'll take you in a week. Get ready and don't take these useless people. Carol, it seems that he is leaving. TOAA, simple, my brother the precinct thinks something very interesting. Jennifer, what is it? TOAA, we don't deserve Peter and I think he's right. All the heroes were surprised. A deity said that they did not deserve Peter Parker, their friend and beloved. Kamala, tell me that my love will not leave, and besides he is your favorite son, we should not give him grandchildren. She began to cry. TOAA, yes, I would say no, but everything I did didn't work. I erased his memory. My God, I don't know if he'll forgive me, and why? Because of some hitches who said they loved him. Carol, but... TOAA, no buts, I brought you here so you can see how my son is leaving. Jennifer, if he hasn't left, why don't we stop him? TOAA, and oh, that's why I brought them, so that no one interferes and also to see their faces, ha ha ha. Clint, it's evil, TOAA. TOAA, I know, son Jajaj. Clint, ha ha ha. Then a screen showed a blank room in the center, Peter all intubated. Carol, what happened? She started to cry. TOAA, Odo got cancer in his brain and would die. He is still alive for his children. Anya, it seems that only we can give him children. Annoying. TOAA, silence, you can't talk. When the change, you moved away from him, and when he wanted to clarify it, what did you do? Anya, I... TOAA, what? You hit him and he didn't defend himself, and it hurt him more to see you kiss that copy. Miles, I'm sorry. I didn't finish. Anya hit him. Anya, it's your fault. If I didn't play along, he wouldn't hate me. TOAA, he still loves them all. Gwen, then we can make him reconsider and stay. All yes. TOAA, that's why I brought them to see their faces in despair when my brother removes the seal. Do you know what will happen? Loki, female, no, don't tell me that. TOAA, he loves them because he thinks that she only left them once. But what will happen if she discovers all of his betrayals or not? Ha 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 ha. Phoenix, is free, my Anansi will leave me, no 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 and no. Again no no, they will take me away from him. TOAA, silence, you lost it, I told you to take advantage of this opportunity. Screen. Peter seemed calm, but they managed to see several robots there. How is this cool? Remains the same. It will be fine, right, Megatron? I hope so. Optimus' father created us to protect the city a long time ago, but now we can't do anything right. We don't take care of father, we are useless. Optimus, don't blame yourself, it will be okay, I know it. Megatron, I hope so, my subordinates are protecting the base. Optimus, mine too. The lights turn on and several robots are seen, but the ones that stood out the most, Autobots and Decepticons, were a red and blue one and a silver one. And a robot doing rounds outside that looked like a military base. And to top it off, there were robots taking care of specific points. And many more guarding the entrance. Tony, what are they surprised? TOAA, they are robots built by nanotechnology. Tony, but that is very dangerous, they could end up like Ultron. TOAA, Peter is not stupid. Besides, he created them capable of copying everything, they even have human form. Vision, like me. TOAA, yes, only they were created to avoid disasters like the one that scares him. He was created to stop Thanos, and his name is Megatron. Gamora, amazing. Will, and the blue one that looks good. TOAA, his name is Optimus. Peter created them together, they are like twins, although they would never accept it, each one made their own side. Megatron the Decepticon and Optimus the Autobots. Although they love each other very much, Peter created them very well, they consider him their father. That is why they have hacked every server looking for cures for that disease. Tony, awesome. B. Optimus, there is an intruder. Optimus, kill him, no one should bother father. Megatron, for the first time I agree, annihilate him, no one should bother him. I wouldn't say the same. They all pointed their weapons at the subject. Megatron, what do you want, human? Optimus, speak or die. I introduce myself, I am a deity called the Presence, and I have a proposal for you. B. What is a god doing here? The Precinct, they know the value of their father is not true. Megatron, without him everyone dies. The Precinct, yes, that's why I'll cure him and give him a proposal. Optimus, the trick. The Precinct, there is no one who will be 18 again. Megatron, okay. Optimus, but. Megatron, it's the only option. I don't want to see him die. Besides, Arachnid is sad because of his father. Optimus, okay, but a suspicious move, and I don't care if you're a god or not, you die under my sword. The Precinct, what good children, okay, I'll cure him. The Presence approached Peter and touched him, making him rejuvenate. Peter, there is my head where I am. The robots present turned into humans of about 14 years old, and rushed towards him in a hug. Peter, now you can let me go, kids. Optimus, thank you, sir. The Precinct, you're welcome. Peter, who are you? The Precinct, I am the brother of your creator. Peter, I know who you are and you came just to heal me. The Precinct, not like you think, I came to offer you a deal. Peter, which one is it? The Precinct, come to my universe, this one doesn't deserve you. Peter, I would like to, but here I have my loved ones. I know they left me, but it was only once and I went crazy. The Precinct, that's what you think, I'll break your memory seal. Peter, what kind of seal? The Precinct, all in good time. Carol, no, don't let it stop. Gwen, please stop, my pet, not again. It cost me a lot to get back and pretend. I don't even want to lose him, not again. MJ, what do you mean again? Maybe you are. TOAA, more than one conspiracy or not, they became yanderes for Peter. This shows that their love is a lie. Anya, maybe? TOAA, yes or no? Julia, obsessed Carpenter, tell them how you almost killed your daughter Rachel for wanting to flirt with Peter, and you declared yourself her owner. Julia, how? TOAA, simple or not, I wanted to know why you didn't help him, and easy. Did you want him not to have more partners, comfort him and stay with him, or not? Julia, ha 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 ha. Yes, and you didn't help me when I thought you would help me to love myself too. But you didn't just choose who he was with, and several of us didn't agree. That's why he would be ours. If it weren't for you, I would be with him, and they would be curing him, and we would live happily. TOAA, that's why I brought them to you, so they don't interfere. The presence touched Peter's forehead and he glowed. He simply bowed his head and cried. Optimus, what did you do to him? Damn it, his sword on his neck. The precinct, I will show you. All the robots received memories and also how their moments were sealed. Megatron, I will kill those vermin. B, I finally agreed to kill the blondes, turns into a robot and charges his cannon. Optimus, wait, we can't decide for Dad, he has to make his own decision. Megatron, tisk okay, but if my weapon falls on their necks it won't be my fault. Peter, I decided? Chapter 3, The Farewell to. Note that the Transformers turn from human to person, meaning they break up and come back together. Those who saw their movies will understand. Peter, I've already decided to leave. Everyone was in shock. Would he leave? Jennifer, tell me it's a lie. Learn now. Tell him to stay crying. Steve, he'll really be gone. He won't be here anymore. Carol, tell me it's a lie. I already lost him once. I don't want to lose him twice. TOAA, seriously, every action has its consequence, and this result is yours. Clint, I hope I'm the best man when he gets married. TOAA, rest assured, Clint. All the women fell silent and their killing instinct rose. Anya, you're cold as if she were getting married. Clint, I saw him grate her cough cough. I mean, they fell in love with him and got married happily ever after or not. They were all in shock. Did he say he was getting married? They were moving wildly, trying to free themselves. TOAA, it is useless to resist his destiny. He will be happy and I will take care of that. Clint, and I will support you in whatever way I can. Let's keep watching. The presents, then let's go. Peter, I want to say goodbye to my friends. The presents, okay Noble, I see the problem where we are going, Mr. Parker. Peter, okay, wait for me kid, we'll leave soon, get your things ready. Transformers, okay Dad. Peter, I want to visit Johnny the Phantom Vengeance. The presents, okay. I will use Johnny from the movies and Danny from the second one, that is, the son of Mephisto. Tony, why go to that guy? TOAA, we'll see his nephew Danny. Strange, Mephisto's son or not? TOAA, exactly. The presents teleported him to a homely house where 3 people lived, and Peter knocked on the door until Johnny opened it. Johnny, Peter, come on, how are you? I'm worried about you. Peter, thanks Johnny. Peter walked inside and there was a woman and a child until the child saw him and ran to hug him. Danny, Uncle Pet. Peter, hi Dan. Danny, how are you, man? Pet, more or less. Danny, you will stay to eat. Pet, I can't, I came to say goodbye. Danny, sad because you don't love me anymore. Pet, of course, they just offered me a home and I decided to go. Johnny, and did you come to say goodbye or not, Peter? Peter, sure Johnny. Peter talked for a while until they said goodbye, but Danny was sad. Danny, I don't want you to go. Peter, yes I know, but remember, I'll always be here. He points to his heart, and I'll also come on your birthday, okay? Danny, you promise? Peter, I promise. Goodbye Johnny, and tell me goodbye to your wife. Johnny, yes I will. Take care of yourself, friend. Peter, I will do it. Peter was walking until the presents appeared. The presents, where to? Peter, I'll say goodbye to Thanos. Gamora, why is it my father? TOAA, Thanos changed since Peter helped him conquer Lady Death. Well, I thought he never paid attention to her. In fact, everything he did was for her, right? TOAA, yes, but he helped him. Ether and the presents arrived before Thanos, who was talking to Lady Death until he noticed their presence. Thanos, pet, how are you? Peter, I was better, I came to. Thanos, fire you if my beloved told me so. Peter, then see you later, Thanos, and don't forget I'll be the best man at your wedding. Thanos, ha ha ha, rest assured, and I also wanted to apologize for what happened to my daughter Gamora. I no longer recognize her. Peter, it's not your fault, my friend. Thanos, yes, I remember how you helped me be with my beloved, haha. Flashback. Thanos tried again to conquer Earth with symbiotes, but Peter stopped him, and they talked. Spider-Man, why do you do it? Thanos, so she notices me. Spider-Man, a girl? Thanos, yes, and you also understand heartbreak. Spider-Man, yes, I understand and I know it very well. Peter told him all his misdeeds and Thanos was surprised that such a smiling hero suffered so much. Thanos, sorry, I didn't know that. Spider-Man, yes, I'd take you to the Nova Corps, but screw it, let's go for a beer. If they went out drinking and became friends until Peter told him. Spider-Man, she hip doesn't hip you. Thanos, but hick, I love her. Spider-Man, I'll give you a hip trick, listen. Spider-Man whispered something in his ear and Thanos opened his eyes wide. Thanos, I'll do it, and if she rejects me I'll leave her, right? Spider-Man, sure, call me Peter, are we friends now, right? Thanos, call me Thanos, friend. And if they became friends like that, what happened for them to be together? Place? Lady Death, now what do you want? Thanos, nothing, I just came to clarify things. Lady Death, what thing? I will never go out with you, or do you do? Thanos, cried, I know, that's why I came today to tell you two things. Lady Death, speak, I lose patience. Thanos, first of all, I always loved you. You were the first woman I loved and you know it. That's why I realized that if after everything I did for you, you don't love me, I decided to leave you and never bother you again. Goodbye forever, young lady. Thanos left sadly while Lady Death remained static. Perhaps he told her that he didn't love her. She thought she would be happy, but no, on the contrary, it hurt her too much, and so hours, days, weeks passed until a month passed without hearing anything from Thanos, and she decided to see him. Thanos was at a party while drinking and Peter was with him having a great time. Peter, how are you? Thanos, she didn't look for me, so you're right. She'll never love me. Look at me. I'm ugly. He starts crying. Peter, that you are a very drunk being who suffers for one. There are several aliens in the universe. Come on, cheer up. I will help you search. Thanos, okay, I'll listen to you. I'll forget. Also, a ship destroys another ship or not, ha 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 ha. The two laughed until the atmosphere turned cold and the two stood on guard until they turned around and saw Lady Death. Thanos, you want death? Lady Death, what do you mean you're going to be unfaithful to me? Thanos, how could I be unfaithful to you? You and I are nothing, forget it. Lady Death, angry, you are mine, my property. Thanos, holy crap, what am I doing now, Peter? Peter, you still love her, give her a chance, besides dude, it's death, she'll kill you and keep your soul if you don't accept it. Thanos, what a mess this crazy woman got me into. Lady Death, crazy in love with you now, accept me or I will have to keep your heart literally. Thanos, thinks, we'll see if it works, I hope he gets bored of me. And so it happened, they became a couple and Thanos fell in love again, and they were happy. Of course she was very toxic. End flashback. Peter, I still remember your scared face when she said, do you love me or I will have to literally take your heart away, ha ha ha. Thanos, don't remind me, but changing the subject, I hope you're happy and find love. Peter, I'll try, okay, bye Lady Death and friend, I hope to see you again. Both, goodbye, take care. Peter left with the presents. Take presents, where? Peter, my villain's last stop. Everyone was with their mouths open as they watched the fearsome Thanos talking amicably with Peter, and changed. Rocket, I admire the spider mixing water with oil, ha ha ha. Gamora now has a stepmother, ha ha ha. Everyone talked but heard that he would go with his villains. Tony, is he crazy to go with his villains? Scott, what an idiot, that infernal being. He didn't finish because Clint put an arrow in him where he didn't hit Soul. Clint, shut up, scum, you better keep watching. The presence appeared with Peter at the entrance of a bar. Peter, wait for me. The presence, it's okay but don't delay. Peter entered the premises, meeting every villain he faced apart from villas that know him. Peter, hi guys. Villains, hello Spider. Peter, hey, I came to say goodbye. Fisk, the cancer is progressing, don't worry. I managed to steal technology from Wakanda. I think that if we cooperate we can cure you and… Peter, no need, look at my body, I returned to my 18 years, I have nothing left. Everyone sighed with relief. T'Challa, maybe his villains want to help him, and more so since they stole our technology. TOAA, even if you don't believe it, Peter is a friend of all of them. Tony, how? TOAA, simple, he helped them in their worst moments despite being villains because his philosophy made him act like that. For example, Fisk, when he was bankrupt begging Peter, was the only one who helped him, that's why he wants to help him, and he's not the only one, every villain and villainess he helped to improve. Clint, typical of him. Carol, jealous how she helped the villains. TOAA, when they needed financial help or had problems they always called him. In fact, all the villains have his number for emergencies, and since they pay him, even if it doesn't matter, they put him to sleep. And he grapes him, cough cough cough, I mean they helped him distress. The women's instinct rose now, they knew why sometimes when they called him he came tired and didn't remember much, and they put a lie detector on him, and they believed him. Clint, watch. Norman, I thought I would lose you, son. Peter, I know Norman, don't worry, but… Fisk, but… Peter, I'm going to another universe. All the villains were surprised and happy. Norman, you'll finally get a break and find good women, you know. Peter, yes, I know, that's why I came to give each of you a gift. Peter gave them artifacts that they didn't really know their functionality until he got to Doom. Doom is ashamed of the children he raised. Doom will despise you. Peter, don't worry, Victor, besides I know how Latveria is, that's why I brought you this. He gave him a button. Doom, what is it? Peter, easy, if you press it, a machine will activate and appear. It is built with nanotechnology and made of Wakandan materials. Doom, you want to know what the machine is for? Peter, transforms matter. If you put trash you can transform it into anything, gold or diamond if you want. You can even make adamantium with just matter. Doom cried silently and hugged him. Peter, okay. Doom, thanks Spider-Man. Doom will name Spider-Man a national hero in Latveria. Peter, you're welcome. Victor, take care of yourselves. Craven, remember Spider, only we can defeat you, plus I wanted to look tough but I wanted to cry. Rhino, if you don't forget, you can only kneel when we hit you. Do you understand how to cry? Peter, I know, take care of yourselves. Peter left, and they started talking. Norman, they want to teach those false heroes a lesson. All yes. Norman, for Spider-Man. Villains, for Spider-Man a real hero. Everyone was silent. He said goodbye and gave them a farewell gift and a device that is capable of changing matter. Tony, that machine can help globally. TOAA, as well as damage. Imagine that people get that artifact and create weapons with adamantium. Did you think about that? Tony, no. Carol, now where do you go? TOAA, it's not my concern anymore. He left. He's about to leave now. You better go. TOAA expelled everyone except Clint. TOAA, I'll leave you at your house and in a week you'll leave, okay, and watch them. Clint, okay, I'll keep an eye on them. I think they'll go to that military base since Peter has to take his things, right? TOAA, yes, take care of yourself. Clint, I will. In the Avengers Tower I was searching like crazy for the military base. Jarvis, I have already found his whereabouts, and yes, indeed Mr. Parker is getting ready for his trip. Tony, let's go. Steve, but the others. Tony, I already sent you the address, let's go. Chapter 4, Stop him. All the heroes went to the military base where Spider-Man was to try to convince him to stay and more the girls. With Peter. Peter arrived at his base and there were all his children/creations packing their things. He went to his room and began to pack a few things and saw a photo of him and all his ex-partners. He simply shed a tear and broke it, and after a few minutes it was ready and his children were entering the portal. Only he, Optimus and Megatron were left to enter, and the presence got ahead of them saying that he would tell someone that they were coming and that they were about to cross, but an atomic ray hit him, sending him far away. Carol, you're not leaving, darling. Minutes before, the Avengers were flying straight to the military base, and at their sides were the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, who were equally worried that they would not arrive on time. Nat, Tony, this junk can't go any faster. Tony, it's the maximum speed, we can't do anything else, we just hope to get there soon. Nat, TKS. They flew hoping to get to Peter to convince him that they were flying as fast as possible, and they arrived. There were no alarms because the robots were not there. Steve, look for the boy, he must be here. Nat, quickly look for us, we will divide each fence separately. And so they all went their separate ways, searching desperately until Carol found Peter in front of a portal. Carol, communicator, I found him, he's about to leave, I'll stop him. And this is how we got to right now. Peter, what's wrong, Danvers? That hurt Carol for not calling her by her name. Carol, what I'm doing is simple, I'm preventing you from leaving, dear. Peter, leave the dear thing alone, we are nothing, let me go, goodbye. Peter stood up and was about to go through the portal if it weren't for a spider web that stopped him. Gwen, you won't leave, I lost you once but not again. Peter, what else am I missing? The X-Men, the Avengers, or the Fantastic Four? At that all the above mentioned appeared. Peter, me and my big mouth, they want to put me in jail, or better yet humiliate me even more. Everyone felt worse about it. Steve, son, we regret everything we did, but we already know the truth. Peter, surely he showed them the truth, that's why they came. If it weren't for him, they would still be calling me a threat after everything I did. Everyone remained silent because it was true, if it weren't for TOAA they wouldn't know anything and would continue to call him a threat. Peter, your silence confirms it. It's better for me to leave. Except that you will never trust me. It's better for everyone to leave. Anya, Peter, don't go, we need you, cries I need you. Peter, you should have thought about that before. Anya, Peter, you saw me happy, you saw me sad, you saw me cry, don't leave me. Peter, yes, I remember. Anya, then come back, we don't need them. Peter, yes, I also remember finding you kissing and insulting me with Miles, or did you forget? At that answer Anya was devastated, she thought that he would not remember that according to TOAA before. But now she realized that he already knew the truth and she was not the only one. Every girl belonging to the former harem realized that he knew all their betrayals. And the only brave or stupid Miles Morales, who is not comparable to the PS4 Miles, was going to hit him for making Anya cry, but he stopped his blow with a finger. Miles, shock, what? Peter, I thought you learned something from me, but I see that I was wrong. You better sleep. Peter used the spider path and left Miles shattered on the ground with no chance of waking up. Everyone stood still as they watched Peter brutally beat Miles. Logan, pet, leave this, let's go home. I'm sorry for what we did to you, but forgive us. Peter, Logan, what right do you have to say that? Tell me, you and Matt slept with my girlfriend Black Cat at the time, or did you forget? Despite that, tell me what I did. I forgave you and we went through so many adventures together. You knew how I was and my philosophy. You didn't trust me and you called yourself my brother from another mother. TKS, pathetic. Logan was silent at that, and although no one believed it, they saw Logan kneel down and start crying uncontrollably, begging for forgiveness on the ground, humiliating himself even more. Peter, leave that, Logan, forget that we were ever friends, even friends, so you better shut up. Logan, faced with such words, could not take it any more and fell silent and fainted. If it was true, words hurt more than blows, and they confirmed it. They saw Logan on the ground, because so much information made him collapse. His brother repudiated him from everything but blood and agreed with him. He was miserable, and he knew it well. Peter, someone else wants me to tell them my truths. Nobody spoke, but some children spoke. Franklin, crying, Daddy pet, please don't leave us, we know we screwed up, but please stay. Valerie, yes, we know that you must hate us and we agree with you, but please stay. Peter remained silent, and everyone thought that he was really thinking about leaving or staying. Peter, shut up already. Everyone was more surprised at that. Peter, despite helping you in everything, raising you alongside the badly attacked Storm, helped you in everything. Who was there when you were in trouble? Me. When you were in trouble, me. When you didn't have a father, I was always there for you. And tell me what you did. Valerie, nothing. Peter, if nothing, and they were not satisfied, they repudiated me. Starts to cry. I loved you so much that I could give my life for you. I would do it for everyone, but even so, despite knowing how you treat me and the many and infinite variables of what your superiors did, if you believed them and not me, you who I considered my children repudiated me. You called me a murderer, a psychopath, a lunatic, among other adjectives. Tell me, do you think I will forgive you? I will never be your father again. Faced with such harsh and true words from their father figure, they simply cried, and their mother comforted them. Susan, upset. What's wrong with you? I know we fail, but we all make mistakes. Peter, you better shut up. Storm, nostalgic. Tell me, do you remember the times I came crying to you seeking comfort from my hard life? Susan remained silent. Peter, if you were still my confidant and most loyal friend and then partner, what did you do? Tell me. At these words, Susan began to cry. Peter, if you went back to Richards and left me and called me a threat too, you don't know how much I hate that word, threat. In front of everyone I am a simple threat, and you, knowing more than anyone about me, you threw all those years of trust in the trash, even though there are aliens, dimensions, and I don't know what else. You didn't believe in me. Susan cried inconsolably as she hugged her children, remembering every conversation, every hug, every gesture of love, and all of that made it worse. Peter, I don't know. Susan, Storm, from now on you are someone non-existent for me. I repudiate you with all my being. Such harsh words made the sparkle in Susan's eyes disappear, and she cried more as her sanity slowly faded away as she repeated the words. I repudiate you with all my being. John, he tried to hit him for making his sister cry. John, what's wrong with you, idiot? She's sorry. There's no reason to make her suffer more. Peter, I'm sorry, but she wasn't the only one who hurt me. Or do you remember your passionate nights with Felicia? At those words, John, he was stunned and stepped back as Peter approached him. John, shock. What? Peter, I always knew that's why I broke up with her, but the only thing I like about that, you know that. John, he did not respond. He was still in shock. Peter, I told Crystal and she cried. I comforted her. We became friends and something hot happened. You know what I mean, right? Crystal harem yandere who conspired to have Peter confirmed. John, he was even more shocked and started crying. Peter, after that she walked away from me in surprise. She came back to you and I acted like nothing ever happened. I have very bad luck in love. John, he was in shock and crying, but he knew he deserved it and understood why Crystal no longer seemed so satisfied after having action. Peter, like the rest, I don't know you. I deny you and your friendship. From now on, we'll just be strangers. I hope you understand. At these words, John, he was in shock, knelt down and cried silently. Nobody spoke because there was the fact that Peter was breaking his ties that bound him to this dimension. Nobody spoke until a Scot tried to hit Peter. The key word is try. Why did an arrow stop him and send him flying? Peter was surprised by that, but then smiled when he saw his brother. Peter, I thought you weren't coming, bro. That hurt Kane and Teresa. Clint, of course you will. You won't leave without saying goodbye, right? Peter, yes, I regret leaving and seeing the birth of my nephew. Clint, don't worry, TOAA will send me there, so be happy. Peter, thank you. I won't let you go. Chapter 5, First Love. I won't let you go. Peter, what do you want, Phoenix? Phoenix, I came to stop you. I won't lose you again. Peter, you're talking about the time you cheated on me with Odin. Everyone was silent except those who were crying. They continued with their thing. Phoenix, that was an accident. Peter, that you fell on his hawk and that you liked it, and you started doing it while insulting me, saying that it didn't please you, or even better, that you didn't want my children but his. Phoenix cried silently but would not give up. Phoenix, desperate, if you leave I'm going to commit suicide. Peter, do it or forget it, your name says it or not, I see her immortal, or would be better the bird in heat. I don't know which one gives you better, but for this stupid universe I didn't commit suicide, I didn't fall into despair for thinking about helping, and what did I do? Yes, I was reincarnated to forget you, and I succeeded, but that cycle repeated itself over and over again. You started this cycle, Phoenix, you my first love. Phoenix cried for all the harm he caused to his beloved. Phoenix, we can fix it if we still can. Peter, no, we can't, our thing died a long time ago. We recently became one, Peter and Anansi, now there is only one, a single being, now the network is not needed, don't worry about dying, you don't need me anymore, goodbye heroes. Phoenix attacked Peter from behind and he could barely dodge it. Peter, damn, I can't face her, my power hasn't been restored yet, what's wrong with you? Phoenix started laughing in an unhealthy way, scaring everyone present except you know who. Phoenix, do you think I'll let you go? No. You belong to me. I know I made mistakes, but if you don't forgive me, I'll have to make you forget everything, just you and me, how it should have been. Peter, you are not the woman I once loved. Phoenix, of course I am Anada. Peter, no, the woman I loved was beautiful, strong, and always thought about others. Where is that beautiful woman that I once fell in love with? Phoenix, you made her like this, it's your fault, cries, I always loved you. I know I was a fool, I left you because you didn't pay attention to me. Note, I made up that Phoenix was unfaithful because Anansi helped everyone and neglected her a little. I looked for support, and he gave it to me. After that something's happened, but it was just AV. Peter 9. Phoenix, huh? Peter, those were the times you slept with him. Phoenix, how? Peter, sad, I saw you the first time, I thought it was once, and how wrong I was. One day I left my job to see you, but I saw you with Odin all drunk. I didn't stop you. I thought it was the alcohol and that I left you aside, but it wasn't the first time. The second time I forgave you, but then it became a little habitual for you. I started to fall into depression and I thought about committing suicide and sending this universe to hell, but then I thought about the others and I talked to everyone, and Odin knelt before me without me saying anything. He was still young and somewhat hormonal. He told me everything and the times that you looked for him and asked for death for such a dishonor. Everyone agreed, but I forgave him because I saw that he wasn't lying, and so the Weaver and Madam Web let me reincarnate so far from you, but you in your eagerness to have me came to this world, right? Phoenix remained silent as her sanity became increasingly fragmented. Peter, melancholic, I don't know if you loved me for being me or for my power, or because the truth is I don't know if you really loved me. That ended up breaking Phoenix's sanity. Phoenix, desperate, yes, I loved you for who you were, but... Peter, no buts, it's better to separate for eternity, Phoenix, and it's better for me to go. I hope you understand me. Phoenix, please forgive me, I beg you. Peter, and tell me, Phoenix, what would you feel if I slept with Aphrodite, Hestia, or any woman? Tell me, would you forgive me? You know that several women sought me out, but I was always faithful to you because I loved you. Tell me, Phoenix, what would you do in my place? Phoenix remained silent. She would have killed those goddesses and would have finished him off, but it was the other way around. Just thinking about it made her heart hurt a lot, but she wouldn't give up. Besides, what could she lose? She already lost everything, and her everything was Anna. Peter was the only thing she had, but he wanted to leave. Peter started walking again, but the Phoenix fire burned him. Megatron, father! To Mater Maldita. Peter, come here, son, you're no match for her. Megatron, but... Optimus, listen to father. Megatron calmed down but wanted to kill her. Megatron, I will get a lot of power and make father happy no matter how long the time is, he will always be with us. Peter. Peter, why? Phoenix, I will not allow you to leave. I lost you and I will not do it again, and if that means deleting your memories I will do it. If I need to kill this entire dimension I will do it all for your love. Do you understand me? Crazy smile. Peter, great, did the crazy girl or girls like it? I got confused, we can talk about it. Phoenix, no love, you will come with me, and if I have to break and burn your bones, I will. Peter, I don't like being a vertebrate, goodbye. Peter threw an organic web at his face and tried to run, but Phoenix told him to stay trapped in a kind of bubble, drowning him. He was trying to get out, and couldn't do it until Megatron tried to cut Phoenix in two, but he dodged it but had to lose his concentration because Optimus almost sliced his neck. Megatron, you failed. Optimus, same as you. Megatron, TKS, you should have killed her, one less bother. Phoenix, I'll kill them. She was beating them while Peter was recovering, but when she was about to kill Megatron, Peter stopped her with the Enigma Force and the Uni-Force, but how? Moments before. Peter's mind. Peter, I am weak, I cannot protect my children, I am a disgrace. No, you are not. Peter, who are you? Enigma Force, you know me, you were my bearer. Peter, I'm sorry I never saw your face. Faith, I am the Enigma Force. Peter, and what do you want from me? Faith, nothing, simply becomes my bearer again. Peter, why? Faith, you are indispensable. Peter, they don't need me anymore, the network of life is safe. You know that if I die, my soul will be reincarnated. Fe, but what happens if your soul is destroyed? Peter, I never thought about that. Fe, besides, you were the best carrier I had, and I will help you recover the Uni-Force. Peter, but I don't have it anymore. Faith, you always had it, it was just asleep, but when you accept me, you will wake it up. Peter, I don't know what to do. Fe, if you don't do it, your children will die. Do you want that? Peter, no. Fe, I say it strong. Peter, no. Faith, then I will be your teacher. Peter, fine, but what kind of teacher? Fe, I will be like your partner, you know, so that you can control your powers. Peter, okay, what do I do? Fe, take my hand. Peter took his hand and a great light enveloped him and an automatic suit was created and he woke up and hit Phoenix. It's not the time, Peter Parker, soon we will meet you, still you do not control the Uni-Force or the Enigma Force, she will defeat you soon, we will be one, Peter. Some scales shown. Present. Phoenix, why do you resist me? Peter, I like toxic ones but not crazy ones. Plus, you touched my kids, so I'll knock you out fast. Phoenix, let's see if you can. Peter at an incredible speed knocked out Phoenix, making him sleep. All this happened before some stupefied heroes who were in shock. Hope, Peter, why don't you stay with us? What did we do to you? Please come back. Peter, Hope, my student, a prodigy of prodigies, just like my other students except for Miles. I forgive you. You did not do anything, exactly nothing. That is why I will forgive you, because I considered you my daughter forever. Hope, I have no other alternative. We will all stop you. Hope was not his partner, therefore they are in the Yandere harem that wants Peter. In that, Phoenix awakens and Jean and Hope use the power of the Phoenix. Peter, I could barely handle one, but I don't think I could handle three. All the heroes were about to attack, but an explosion stopped them. At that, several Spider-Man villains entered that baffled everyone. Peter, what are you doing here? Craven, first of all, good morning, and Vulture, we came to help with all those false heroes. Peter, okay, I'll help you a little with the heavy weights. Fisk, and what a good spider suit. Peter, if I like Fisk too, let's do it quickly. Villains, okay. Peter, Spartans fly. Villanos, au. Sorry, I always wanted to do that. Chapter 6, Villains vs. Heroes. All that was heard were blows that were caused by a fight between heroes and villains, but the roles were reversed, each one fought, and to the surprise of the supposed heroes, the villains were hitting them, because Rhino was as strong as Hulk, Vulture was faster than Falcon and had many more advantages. But they concentrated on more important fights. Spiders vs. Green Goblin. The spiders tried to hit Norman, but he dodged them and made fun of them, but what made Norman the angriest was a conversation. Gwen, why do you defend your nemesis? Norman, he is a very good guy or I'll black him, hitch Stacy. Gwen, How do you know? Norman, do you think Peter wouldn't tell me that you had children with my stupid son Harry? He came to me, his father figure, to ask me for comfort, and I gave it to him, and because of Harry's stupidity I ended up taking care of your children, but they, in hatred of their supposed murder of their mother, attacked Peter? Gwen, how do you know I'm the real one? Norman, when they are from different dimensions they have something that distinguishes them, but not you. You were just like her, that damned girl who deludes my son. Gwen, but you hunted him down for much of his suffering. Norman, it was never me. It was always the Green Goblin. He and I are two very different people. He controls me for a while and Peter knows it. He helped me. His last gift was the serum that reverses my double personality. Now I have all the good from my serum and I get rid of the bad. That's why I will help him, and I will not allow my son to be with someone like that, you understood? Gwen, you're a bastard. You're nobody to tell someone who should love you. He'll love me, and if I have to kill you, I will. Gwen, all hysterical, wanted to kill Norman, but he kept humiliating her just like the other spiders and ended up knocking out Gain. Miles, and that stupid Parker is not better than me, and I proved it by beating you. Norman, seriously, tell me, would you even know how to use your powers without him? Miles, of course. Norman, ha ha ha, are you serious? Let me laugh louder, ha ha ha. Miles, what are you laughing at? Norman, of all the stupid things you say, Peter could always beat you or kill you, but he never did it out of pity. Hey, one more thing, do you remember when your mom came limping to your house? Miles, don't tell me that. Norman, if she was looking for Peter, and he hit her hard against the wall and solid against the floor. Miles attacked even more furiously than before but was quickly knocked out by Norman. Norman, TKS weak. Norman dodged a direct kick from Jessica Drew. Norman, and now you're gullible or not, tell me if I told you that Peter is a woman, would you believe it, right? Ha! Jessica, shut up, it's Barton's fault. Norman, yes, and I agree with you. But tell me to believe him when he was very stupid. You must be very stupid. And when Peter tried to explain to you about being superior, what did you do? Jessica fell silent and began to clench her fists so hard that they bled. Norman, if you didn't believe him and to top it off you forbade him from seeing Jerry, and you beat him up, but tell me, did he defend himself? Did he try to protect himself? Jessica remained silent for that reason. Norman, yes, I really would have liked him to stay with Anna Maria. She was a real woman. Although small, she was responsible, and she trusted Peter despite the fact that he was superior. Jessica was now from sad to angry because in her mind she still thought that Peter was hers and no one else. Jessica attacked mercilessly, giving Norman a few blows, but he was nothing compared to Peter, and he knocked her out with a very strange gas. Norman, sleep, spider, sleep. Norman when he left Jessica on the ground like the others. Norman, let's go 3-2 left. At that moment I dodged 2 kicks that were from Anya and Cindy. Norman, speaking of the King of Rome, the donkey appears, ha ha ha. Anya, I'll knock you out and go get Peter. Norman, never. I'm sorry to get carried away, but just imagining my son being even with you makes me sick. Cindy, damn. Norman, hi Cindy Moon. The young woman who saved Peter when he lost his powers, told me about you, a jealous woman, who only looked for him for Hex and then left him as always. Cindy just stayed quiet and clenched her fists because it was true. Norman, I have nothing to say about you two, except that you left my son because you didn't believe him. I'm disappointed to think that he considers you my daughters-in-law, but I hope he finds good women wherever he is and I can be his best man. At that moment, just thinking about the fact that Peter was marrying a random girl made them angry and they hit him. But he couldn't dodge it because it was one blow after another until they destroyed his mask and he was bleeding from his nose. Anya, last words. Norman, just too gullible. Norman threw a pumpkin grenade with the intention of knocking them out, and he succeeded. Norman, it was easy and I think I'll sleep. And Norman was knocked out by his exhaustion. Avengers minus Carol, Nat and Tony, versus villains. Steve, give up, there are more of us. Fisk, and who decided it anyway? An old friend of yours came. Out of nowhere, a red skull appeared, surprising everyone. Steve, how? Red Skull. I owe the kid some favors, and thanks to him I reconciled with my daughter, and what's better than hitting you, Captain? Steve, Avengers assemble. The Avengers attacked with everything they had, but they were surprised by how strong these villains were, according to them, and how did they know that? Well, a Rhino was hitting Hulk, another was that Vulture was humiliating Falcon, or another example would be that Electro electrocuted them, and they didn't know what to do. The beating didn't last long because they knocked them out quickly and didn't kill them because Spider-Man told them that he would knock them out, and he didn't want them dead. Rhino weak. Vulture, even if you follow him, the Spider would defeat us quickly. With the Parker brothers versus Clint, cough. Teresa and Kane were trying to hit Clint, but he dodged them and made comments like Peter's. Kane, stay still. Clint, oh, the girl got angry because you turned out to be defective. Why did Peter consider you his family? Kane was about to attack, but Teresa stopped him. Teresa, he wants to provoke you, don't fall into the trap. Kane, okay. After that they continued fighting for a while, full of provocations, until Clint managed to hit an arrow in Kane's butt. Kane, Kaya. Clint, who screamed more manly. Clint proceeded to punch him in the back of the head, and then an easier battle began for Clint. Teresa, how did you become so strong if you are the weakest of the Avengers? Clint, Peter trained me and taught me some tricks, maybe you know this martial art. Clint took the spider walk pose, surprising Teresa. Teresa, how? Clint, this combat mode cost me many broken bones, and today I will prove that effort always defeats natural talent. After that, Clint quickly beat Teresa up, and she could do little until Clint took out some bandages from his arms and hit an upward kick and rolled Teresa up, making her spin in the air. Clint, primary lotus. After that, Teresa was knocked out, and Clint with some broken bones. Clint, damn, he still hasn't perfected the internal doors, much less the techniques. Clint fell to the floor, still conscious but unable to move due to the effort. With the Guardians, Gamora was desperately trying to get to Peter so that he would stay with her just like her allies. Gamora, let's go faster. Will, I don't understand how you left him for a hideous alien because of Peter's hot daddy. That makes some people doubt his sexuality. Rocket, you're crazy, but I don't deny it. Gamora, it was just for revenge, and shut up, instead support me so he doesn't leave. Will, okay. They were stopped by a portal that opened, showing Thanos without his armor and the Infinity Gauntlet. Gamora, what are you doing here? Thanos, daughter, I came to help my friend and I want to be the godfather of his baby, so that's why I'm here, and for you to learn to face the consequences of your actions. Gamora, you won't stop me, he won't leave. Thanos, we'll see about that. They fought back even though it was relatively easy for Thanos to knock them out. Thanos, how boring, I'll have fun with enhanced humans. Thanos turned to the X-Men, who watched him alertly because they knew who he was. Logan, what do you want? Thanos, I finished quickly, so here I am to have fun. Cyclops, I will kill you to be inferior. Thanos, I have unfinished business with you. Thanos began to slaughter Scott, and no one did anything because they didn't care, and when he finished beating him. Thanos, now let's fight. Everyone started hitting each other, but Thanos was superior, and nothing relevant happened here. With the Fantastic Four and the kids, they were running to where the main event would happen. Susan, let's go and help Peter stay. Johnny, it's the fastest we can. The six were stopped by Optimus and Megatron in their 14-year-old boy form, who looked at them with hatred. Susan, leave children. Optimus, nobody calls us kids. Megatron, I told you it was better to kill them, but you and your morals. Optimus, let's stop fighting for a few minutes and finish this quickly, okay? Megatron, okay. Johnny, and what will you two do if you are children? Megatron, who you'll see. The two Transformers disintegrated into nanoparticles, turning into their robot form. Ben, you had to talk, Matchstick. Johnny, me and my big mouth. Megatron, less talk and more action. Reed, I want to investigate you, so I will defeat you. Optimus. Let's see if they last as a warm-up. It was a 2 versus 6, but the kids didn't know how to use their powers at all, but the surprise when Franklin threw me a mini-universe. Optimus absorbed it with a strange dagger. Franklin, what is that? Optimus. He is half of the leadership matrix, a gift from Dad. Reed, I will have that object. Optimus, not a chance. Then they fought again, but their chances were few. The first to fall was Reed, who due to complexity thought he could tie them up, but they easily used the dagger that seemed to be infected because at the touch many nanobots filled Reed's body and knocked him out. Megatron, you would have killed him. Optimus, Father doesn't want corpses. Megatron TKS. Then the second to fall was Ben, who was knocked out by a huge blow from Megatron, followed by Johnny. Only Susan was left because her children were exhausted. Optimus, if I remember correctly, you were Dad's confidant. Susan, I was much more than that, you know. Megatron, if we know you left Dad for some attempted man, who is there? Susan couldn't deny that she made the same stupidity when she left Peter for Reed's attempted man. Susan, I made mistakes, but he won't leave my side, and if I have to erase his memory, I will do it. Do you know how long I waited for him to be mine? You know how much I suffered when he told me about his partners. It was painful, but when I had him starts to cry, I left him because I thought he would change, but he will be mine again, and if I have to hit him until he learns to love me, I will do it. Her last words scared the bots because she was crazy. Megatron, why Dad attracts pure crazy women? Optimus, I don't know, I hope none of our sisters fall in love with him. A shiver ran through both of them, remembering what their sisters could be like. The two were about to attack, but a force field that was crushing them left them in shock because they were too confident. Susan, I'll kill them, I don't need them to get in the way, so that Peter is mine again. Megatron, give me your part of the Matrix. Optimus, damn it. Megatron took out his part of the Matrix and turned the shield and proceeded to get rid of it. Susan, what is that? Megatron, this weapon can temporarily remove powers and is the spark of our life and has several functions that I will never tell you. Optimus, knock her out and let's go. Father might need us. Megatron, party pooper. After that they went to their father, but he was all bleeding. But how did we get to this? Chapter 7, finally free. Megatron and Optimus saw their father without his mask and spitting blood, but how then? Minutes ago. Peter lunged at the two carriers and the Phoenix herself, who Peter claimed had gone mad. Peter, why do this, Hope? I understand it about both of them, but you. Hope, you didn't realize it until now. Peter, what do you mean? Hope, I like you. Peter, shock, what? Hope, I always liked you even though you were my student and you treated me like your daughter. I never wanted to be like your daughter, I wanted to be the mother of your children. When TOAA called us, I thought that we could finally be happy, and I didn't mind sharing you, but you didn't only choose the others, you even chose Anya and Kamala and not me. Why not? Peter, I am sorry, I never imagined you felt that way about me. Hope, crying curse. You must be blind not to realize my feelings. Everyone does it to me. You've known me for years and I supported you in your worst moments. You chose them even without knowing about their previous relationships. Your heart knew it. Tell me how you choose people who are shit and not me. Tell me, damn it. Peter, I always did. Hope, what? Peter, sad, I always loved you, but I was afraid that you would reject me. But you may be right, I am an idiot for not noticing your feelings. But I was afraid of losing our friendship, and you are special. I did not want to risk losing you. I always lose people who are important to me. Hope remained silent. She was happy and sad. Happy because Peter, the man of her life, told her that he loved her too. But she was afraid and realized that she was very important to him. So much so that if he lost her, he would feel worse than scum and sad for not taking the risk and telling her feelings. She forgot that men did not understand hints, and Peter was a sweetheart. That's why she fell in love with him even more. Hope, then stay and let's be happy. Peter, I'm sorry I can't. It's better to take a break, but I'll try to bring you where I am. Hope, no. You don't know how much I waited for you to tell me those words. I won't let you go after all, you belong to me. Peter, damn luck of an author that I got turns me on. All that's missing is for them to hunt me like an animal, grape me and force me to love them in whatever dimension I go to. Author: No, well, yes, but be grateful these will be more toxic, I say more loving, yes, that's it. Peter: Hope, tell me, don't you want to talk later? I don't know, on the phone while I'm gone you know how to talk. And Peter didn't finish because an attack from Hope made him dodge it. Peter: Well, I tried maximum effort and I will defeat them. Peter started a brutal fight, but he felt some remorse because he didn't like hitting women, but he knew that if he didn't do it he would leave without a pelvis until he couldn't take it anymore because the three of them started to attack him in sync, and it was difficult if not impossible. Peter: Damn, if I continue like this they will defeat me despite all the power I have. I am weak. F. Enigma: You are not weak, Peter, you are just getting used to the power. You barely have 10% of the power. Peter continued to fight until his body could no longer resist, and he fell back into unconsciousness, watching as his two oldest sons came to support him. Present. Optimus and Megatron stood before their father. Optimus: Megatron uses your part of the Matrix to absorb his most powerful attacks. Megatron: I know, but it will be difficult to defeat us. Who said they were alone? All of Peter's villains appeared in front of him, defending him. Fisk: Falling into the hands of a cosmic entity sounds interesting. Craven: Today Craven the Hunter will hunt the most powerful fried chicken. At that joke everyone laughed, remembering Peter. Megatron: Why are they doing this? Vulture: Helped me with my cancer. Fisk: He helped me when I lost all my money and power. Electro: Showed me that I'm not alone and I can make friends. These and more reasons came out of the mouths of their nemesis, which made the pair of artificial intelligences created with a fragment of Peter's soul smile. If that was the secret a robot can't feel, but if you give it a little of what makes us human, a piece of the soul will turn them into living beings. That was crazy even for Peter, but when creating them these were empty, and he created the matrix of leadership, and it could divide and absorb a lot of power because in this place half of Peter's soul, and if they used it correctly you could give life. It was very risky, but he did it, and never regrets that decision. But if Peter lost his soul the Matrix could return his soul. It was a great invention, and more, if only with your soul you can revive. It was his contingency plan. Optimus: Let's stop them. Father will return, rest assured. Megatron: Don't let them take Father away. Villains: Yes. After that, 10 minutes passed where all the villains were resting, or rather knocked out because they could not against the three cosmic entities, and Hope began to carry Peter's body, but out of nowhere it began to glow, revealing a new suit, and it gave off a great power superior to that of the Phoenix. And how did this happen? 10 minutes ago. Peter: He was kneeling and all he could see was that he was in a desert place with a volcano, but everything was illuminated by the moon, giving it a celestial touch, and he began to speak into the air. Peter: Despite having the Uni-Force and the Enigma Force I couldn't win. I am pathetic. What would you say, Uncle Ben? He would tell you that he is proud of the child he raised and became a grown man who saves everyone despite being treated worse than scum. Peter: Who are you? Better said that we are. Peter: What? Nice to meet you, Peter Benjamin Parker. My name is Godzilla and I am a cosmic entity. At that point the volcano exploded, revealing a being whose rear scales shone in an intense blue. That boy watching Godzilla is Peter. Peter: How the Phoenix? Godzilla: Don't compare me to that pigeon. That comment made Peter laugh. Peter: And tell me how you are here. If I remember correctly this is my subconscious, but I have an idea. Godzilla: If you see, in my dimension I was a king of all cosmic entities. I am even far superior to that dove, but one day Ghidorah revealed himself and I managed to kill him, but our fight was so titanic that we destroyed our dimension. I thought about coming back to life since I cannot die, but I realized that the human only destroys his world and not only the case. All races do it, and only 1 or 2 planets are saved. I raised the idea of seeing if humanity was worth it. And no, it was not worth it for every good-hearted man. There were millions of corrupt men, and these fell into darkness, but not you. Despite suffering more than being repudiated among others, your heart never held hatred or resentment. It was as white as the first time I saw it, and I decided that you become the new king of the monsters. And tell me, do you accept? Peter: First of all, wow, and I accept. After all, I have no other alternative. They will take me, so that's fine, I accept. Godzilla approached Peter, and he touched Godzilla's claw, and a great light appeared in the place while everything collapsed. Peter, thanks for helping me. Godzilla, don't let your power go to hell. Don't make the same mistakes I did. But I doubt it. Ha ha ha, I hope to see you on the other side. Peter, if that sounded bad, it would be better to say I hope I never see you on the other side and have a prosperous life, Peter. Peter, I will, and thanks again. Present. A cloud of smoke rose, and when it dispersed you could see Peter with a new power that made the three entities tremble, but his madness was greater. Peter, I hope I don't keep them waiting, but it's time to end this. Peter moved at the speed of light, and only a blue trail could be seen, and the three entities were lying on the floor. Peter began to kneel, and his new suit began to fall apart. Peter, I don't have the power, but I managed to defeat them. It's time to go. Peter heads to his children to leave, but his spider sense made him dodge a photon beam from Captain Marvel. Peter, I forgot about you three. In front of Peter were Carol, Natasha, and Tony. Tony, I'm sorry, Peter, but we can't let you go. Without you, we'll be lost. Peter, you should have thought of that before, and tell me you are still sleeping with Mary Jane or Natasha, and what do you want? Carol, your boyfriend is over there, points to Rhodes the War Machine. Natasha simply remained stoic, but tears came out of her eyes. With Carol she cried, but she wouldn't let herself be carried away by her emotions. With Tony, he felt somewhat bad because he realized that out of jealousy he was trash with Peter, and he would take charge of helping him. Tony, why do I feel like someone is following me? Tony, I'm sorry, Peter, you have no right to call me that. Tony, okay, Spiderman, I hope one day you forgive me, but for that I need you to stay and I won't let you leave. Peter, I didn't ask for permission, I'm leaving. Carol, you won't leave or forget it. Peter, you belong to me. Natasha, you mean it belongs to us? Carol just clicked her tongue at the memory of that. Peter, I am not an object, even though you used me as such. I will not be a toy again, same as whoever reads this part. Carol, if I have to break your bones to make you stay, I will. Captain America stood up and said I understood the reference, and fainted again. Peter, I should call him Captain Reference, or the reference ass. Tony, maybe yes, but more fighting and less talking. Peter began to dodge the rays that Tony and the captain were doing, but it was difficult because of his condition, and it was even more difficult to dodge the Russian spy. Peter was still standing, although he was bleeding a lot. Carol, give up, love, and don't hurt yourself anymore. Peter, I will never fall into their trap again. Natasha, are you forgetting our promise to have children, Peter? Peter, and what about that? Despite helping you to be able to have children again, what did you do? Tell me. You left me like the first time because, according to you, I changed. Buck. Even my enemies realized it, and you, the supposed people who would love me forever, what did you do? Nothing. I will not return to that vicious circle. I will be free, and that is why I will defeat you. Peter began to hit them brutally with the spider's path, and with his last breath he knocked him out and he knelt down. Peter, not yet. Peter wanted to get up but couldn't until someone helped him. The precinct, I'm sorry for the delay, but I had to fix some problems. Peter, okay, I understand. You can take me to my new home, but first, leave my enemies in their homes and bring my children and our things. The precinct, okay, as you wish, Peter. Peter, thanks, I think I'll sleep for a while. Peter fainted from exhaustion. The presence, from what I see, we no longer need to go to the Enigma Force, it would be better to go. The presence opened a portal and took Peter with it. The precinct, sad face, I hope you can help my children, Peter, I trust you, I hope you killed Darkseid. Peter, why do I feel like I got myself into a war where more crazy people are looking for me, whatever. Chapter 8, Consequences. All the supposed heroes began to wake up after a tremendous beating, but when they managed to wake up they saw that Spider-Man was not there. Logan, damn it, he's gone. Kane, brother. All the heroes began to murmur, and went to their respective homes to find out what will happen in the future. First month. This month the heroes tried to travel with Doctor Strange, but he refused, but they ended up convincing him because Doctor Strange was one of the few who did not leave Peter alone. But in the end they were unable to locate him. The only thing they managed to find out was that he spent 3 times as much time here as wherever Peter was. Second month. All of Peter's villains attacked and humiliated the supposed heroes again, while the city begged for Spider-Man to return. Third month. To everyone's surprise, the villains left saying a phrase. Green Goblin, his supposed heroes are just people in flashy suits. Kraven, there is no worthy prey for Kraven the Hunter. Electro, there's not much to do, this is getting boring. That and more words that hurt the heroes' egos because the villains said they got bored of them and left. Fourth month. This month Latveria was shown as the most advanced city, surpassing Wakanda, and to everyone's surprise Doom's conference on television from Latveria in the center of Central Park that had a covered statue. Doom, hello stupid civilians of New York, today I, Doom, will reveal the truth of everything, and I will talk about his advances to humiliate the other countries that made fun of Doom. Doom, first of all I will present the truth about Superior in an hour. It took Doom half an hour to reveal the truth, of course, without revealing his identity, and he used the other half hour to denigrate the stupid heroes and citizens. Doom, with this topic finished, Doom will show off his latest invention. The machine that Peter created is revealed. Doom, this machine is capable of changing matter using matter data and changing it using chemical processes, and this invention was not created by Doom, this invention was a gift from the national hero of Latveria, Spiderman. At that, some sheets were covered revealing the gold statue of Peter. Imagine it's gold. Doom, this statue is little compared to what Spiderman, the greatest hero of all, gave us. Journalist, and you are not afraid that they will steal the statue or break it to get your material. Doom, ha ha ha, Doom is not stupid. All citizens know that this statue belongs to their savior, and anyone who steals it, even if they dare to dirty it, you say cold and emotionless, will be taken to the Latveria prison with the highest security Tartars for 10 years. Everyone's hair stood on end when they heard the dictator speaking so coldly. Journalist, and what progress has Latveria made with this machine? Doom, do you really think he gave me only this? No. Journalist 2, so according to you, what did Spider-Man give you? Doom, many plans, and this is one of them. Doom raised a platform showing a capsule. Doom, this machine is capable of performing miracles. Journalist 3, and what does that machine do? Doom, good thing you asked, this machine is capable of regenerating dead tissues, regenerating body parts, curing diseases and healing them. Journalist, and he claims that it works. Doom, and I'll give 2 examples. Doom slowly took off his helmet, showing his healthy face without any wounds. It was like new. Everyone was surprised because they knew the state of the dictator of Latveria. Doom, and if you're not happy with this test, Doom had a man without legs and arms test the machine. At that moment, a man with what appears to be his wife put him in the machine that began to glow blue and release smoke. And the man came out as good as new, with his whole body as good as new, and he began to cry with his wife. Man, thank you? Doom, don't thank Doom, thank Spider-Man who gave us this. Journalist, and why did he release smoke? Doom, SEV genial. Everyone was left with a blank face. Doom, this machine can regenerate everything, even if a woman is infertile due to illness or her womb was removed, they can heal her, there will never be misfortune in Latveria again. Everyone was shocked by such words from Doom because everything would be fine now they have a machine that is capable of healing everything. Doom, now countries tremble before Doom because now, as I told you a long time ago, he who laughs last laughs best. Journalist 5, but how will crime be stopped? Doom formed a team to take care of this, following in the footsteps of Spider-Man. At that, several silhouettes appeared behind Doom. Doom introduces the former Sinister Six now without the octopus and plus the goblin. At that, everyone looked in shock at the new Sinister Six. Journalist, but he assures you that they will not rebel and try to steal the machine. Doom, They saw the bad in the world as well as the little good, in this case Spider-Man. They suffered a lot and society turned them that way, but Spider-Man helped them get out of that path, and this is their first step. I present to you the Chaos Brigade, a unit that will stop the chaos in Latveria. Journalist 6. If Spider-Man gave him those plans and the machine, where is it? Doom. Unfortunately, I don't know. Before he disappeared, he left me this knowing that I would give it a good use. That's why I'm doing this. I'm just honoring his legacy. This conference is over. No more questions to Doom. Doom put on his helmet and started walking away with the Chaos Brigade as reporters started asking crazy questions. 5th month. This month the criticism of the heroes went down to the ground while the new group led by the Green Goblin rose their fame, helping everyone like Spider-Man, but they are always faithful to Latveria. Apart from Peter's aunt and his ex-MJ crying like never before when they saw the truth about Superior. Another case would be Harry, who went to his father to ask for help in finding his friend, but what he received was something he never expected. Harry, Dad, I want you to help me find Peter, he disappeared. Norman, you just realized what a disgrace. Harry, what do you mean? Norman, Harry, from today I disown you. That left Harry in shock. Harry, nervous, why? Norman, you made a lot of mistakes and I always thought that Peter passed on his intellect or habits to you, but I was wrong. Harry, annoyed, I didn't do anything wrong. Norman, the children you had, the serum that brought you back, the insults you must have given him, your low grades, you want me to continue. Harry, you can't do this to me, tell me I'm your only son. Norman, yes, unfortunately yes, but not my only relative. Harry. Harry, what do you mean? Norman, Sarah, come dear. At that moment Sarah. Harry appeared. I thought they died. Norman, stupid Gabriel died for trying to kill Peter without knowing anything, but Sarah was saved by Peter and he raised her for a few years until he couldn't take it anymore and gave her to me. I'm his attorney. Harry, what are you trying to get at? She may have our blood, but I never recognized her, and you can't give her anything. Norman, how wrong you are. At that Norman threw him some documents. Harry, what is this? Norman, Lee. Harry was reading and saw something that scared him. Norman, if you noticed, I suppose, and if not and you're so stupid that you can't read, I'll tell you. In that document there are 2 papers, one of Peter's adoption to Sarah and another of mine that specifies that I adopt Peter, and the last one, my will, specifies that when I die or am no longer of age, all my things will be given to Peter Osborne Park. Forget about Parker, she took away his last name, only Peter Osborne, and if in case he dies, it will be given to his daughter Sarah Osborne. Harry, you can't do this to me. Norman, I can and I did. Now security, please take this guy away. At that moment several guards took Harry away while Norman stayed there. Sarah, sad grandpa, do you think Daddy is okay? Norman, don't be sad, my girl. Your dad is strong. He will surely manage and nobody knows. Maybe you have a new mommy. Sarah, yay? Norman, there are 2 of us now. At that an alarm sounded. Norman, the job called, you can take care of it. Sarah, of course, Grandpa. Norma, I don't know what I would do without you, my girl. In that Norman left, and Sarah stayed. 6th month. This month Peter's ex-harem fell into a spiral of madness because everything reminded them of Peter, and they gave in, and now they were looking for a way to go with their spider because they would happen in 2 months. Is that true? Chapter 9. Spider-Man enters the scene. You guys, after putting your girl in the harem. Don't worry, I'll make your wishes come true, but I'll do it little by little. We see how Peter began to wake up, and next to him was the presence with all his children in a movie theater. Peter, what are we doing here? The precinct. Peter, sorry for lying to you, but not only would I take you with me to my universe, but there is something bigger. Peter, what? The presence, you'll see, I'll summarize it for you in a video. Peter, and what's the problem? The precinct, you see, that was supposed to be the end, but something changed it. I don't know what, but everything changed. Peter, what exactly changed? The precinct, you will see that most of the men are women. Superman has a twin who fought against Darkseid in the attack. Her superhero name is Superwoman. The precinct. You see, Raven and Damien are not boyfriends. They consider themselves brothers. Damien is a clone of Martha Wayne and Talia al Ghul, trying to be a perfect soldier, but they failed and Martha defended him. The precinct. And all those who died in the video were only captured and saved when they were transported and are now on Earth, but Peter, those buts scare me. The presence. When flashing was about to restart, several parademons appeared. Peter, wait, no, they had destroyed the core. The presence. That's what I was getting at. You'll see if Cyborg, or as he is known, Victor Stone, destroyed Darkseid. He managed to escape, and Trigon also barely escaped and decided to make a temporary alliance and destroy the heroes. Peter, something else. The presence. Not only that some men are women and that there are more characters that should not exist, but in the end they do exist, like Supergirl or other heroes, but nobody died like in the video. They were only captured and then saved, but now they are all frozen. The presence showed him his universe that was frozen, and you could see the Justice League in front of thousands of parademons and Darkseid and Trigon leading, and Batwoman with the Hellbat and Superman in front of everyone. The precinct. You see, I didn't want to lose my children and I was desperate, and the only salvation is you. If you don't want to, you can. Peter, I will help. The precinct. Sure? Peter, yes, and if there are innocent people in this, my responsibility is to save them, because with great power comes great responsibility. The precinct. Seriously, you are a person who is worthy of admiration even for me. Peter turned around and saw his children and their creations that they named Viacons. Peter, children, I will not ask you to go with me. Bumblebee, jokes, old man, we will go with you. Peter, but Arachnid, we will go, Dad, and there is no objection. Peter, if Hasai wants it, then we will go to win. Megatron, I'd like to smash those tin cans. Optimus, it's true, I would like to measure my strength. Peter, and you? All yes. Peter, what good children I have. The presence. Make time flow and take us there. The precinct. Why should I make time flow first? Peter, for a triumphal entry. The presence had an anime-style drop come out of it, but he did what he proceeded and began to open a portal where all the Viacons entered, and then the Autobots, Decepticons, and finally Peter. The precinct. Wait, Peter, have this. The precinct. I called that suit Cosmic Spider-Man, and I think it inspires respect. Use it, it's a gift from me. Peter, it's great, and don't worry, I'll save them. DC. In the middle of the battlefield you could see Batwoman fighting with the Hellbat against Darkseid, and Superman and Superwoman against Trigon, and the other heroes fighting against the parademons, but they were very injured, and those who were modified half-machine were exhausting their energy. Darkseid, why do they fight? If their defeat is inevitable, I am inevitable. Marvel. Thanos sneezed, thinking who had stolen his phrase, promising to make him suffer. Back with DC. Batwoman, for the innocent people. Darkseid, you would have served me as a faithful follower, but I must destroy you. Darkseid began to attack more, but Batwoman fought him, but the Hellbat began to consume her life force. And a titanic fight against Trigon took place, but the two Kryptonians against Trigon began to run out, and why? Well, Trigon began to use a spell that began to cause an eclipse. Trigon, they are lost. Superman, never, as long as I breathe and my heart doesn't stop beating, I will never give up. Superwoman, what he said. Trigon, stupid. At that moment Darkseid and Trigon came together, and in their hands they began to gather a red ray. Trigon, with this they will die. Darkseid, we will wipe them out of existence. At that moment they launched the ray, but it was counterattacked with the heat vision of both Kryptonians and a ray from a tired Batwoman. Trigon/Darkseid, die. The two began to increase their power, which began to push back the trio of heroes, and the other heroes who were fighting fell one by one. When the parademons were about to kill the heroes who were on the floor and the duo of villains were about to eliminate the trio of heroes, several portals opened that stopped the fight, and they concentrated on what would come out of there. From a portal came robotic hands that began to reveal several robots, but it opened larger, and revealed a larger and more imposing silver robot. And Hasai just happened to have robots of different colors and sizes. But a portal opened in the middle and revealed a person in a very striking suit. Batwoman, friend or enemy? Spiderman, I am your friendly neighborhood Spiderman, and I came to help on behalf of the presence. At these words, everyone fell silent. Spiderman, it's best that you rest and take off that armor that harms your body. Batwoman didn't know why, but she simply listened to him, but her body was very damaged. Batwoman, it looks like I'm going to die. Spiderman will never die in my presence. Spiderman rose and released a golden aura and separated his hands and began to emanate that aura even more. Peter's sad face focused on healing. Peter began to make all the heroes cover themselves with this, and they recovered, and those who became machines also regained their humanity. Even Cyborg became a human again. Superman, what did you do? Peter, I don't know, but it worked. Now rest, let my children take care of those power demons, I'll take care of the heavyweights. Peter, I don't like death, but using planets to gain more power, and using his own daughter infuriates me. With the Transformers, they were killing the parademons and helping some heroes who couldn't fight. Until Optimus met Victor Stone, or his alias Cyborg, but he felt useless because now what he wanted most was normal, but now he was useless, and that made him feel helpless, and Optimus realized this. Optimus, so you feel useless? Victor, yes, I always wanted to be human again, but now I'm useless. Optimus, that suit doesn't make you a hero, what makes you a hero is your heart. Optimus pointed to his heart. Victor, but what can I do? Optimus, grab a gun and help. Victor, give me one of your weapons, please. Victor knelt before Optimus for help. Optimus, between allies never kneel, and I was working in a suit, but I think you will use it very well. Optimus gave him a glove. Optimus pressed the button. Victor did it without hesitation, and nanotechnology began to join him. Optimus, so if you are a technopath capable of speaking with machines, he will help you. Victor, wait, who is he? Optimus is gone. Nice to meet you, Mr. Victor. Victor jumped in fright. Victor, who are you? I am an AI and I will teach you how to use this suit, pay attention. Victor, great, what do I call you? Call me Charles, Mr. Victor, and would you like to activate warrior mode? Victor, yes, why not? That's when nanotechnology started to move and created a very different suit. Victor, genial booyah! At that, several parademons approached him. Victor, you have to try this beauty. Note, why did you give him that author? Well, I like him. And Peter will need friends when women try to grape him, cough cough, I mean fall in love with him, yes. An Optimus is seen killing several parademons, and then Megatron approaches. Megatron, why did you give him that? Optimus, he needed help, and you more than anyone know what it's like to feel helpless while you see someone close to you about to die without being able to do anything. Megatron remembered his father lying in bed and unable to do anything. Megatron, I'll accept it this time. Megatron looked over his shoulder and saw Victor tearing through many parademons with a big smile. Megatron, I'll see who needs help and possibly find a user for the armor I create. Megatron looked around and saw a teenager he recognized as Damien. Megatron, I like you. Chapter 10 Vehicles. A desolate wasteland could be seen where there were many corpses of parademons that were massacred by the Vehicons, and the parademons, knowing that they had no chance, began to fly and attack from there. At that moment Damien and Hick were about to be killed, but Hick stood in front of Damien, avoiding his death, but with a large wound that goes down from the shoulder to the navel. Damien, crying, why not again? Hick, why, we are family. Damien, stupid, I could do it alone, you didn't have to help me. Hick, I didn't have one, but I wanted to. At that Damien began to press Hick's wound. Damien, just hold on, that man can help you. At that point, what looked like a hunter ship came down and turned into a transformer along with several silver Vehicons and some very different Vehicons. Starscream, nice to meet you, young Damien. Let me introduce myself. I am Starscream, Megatron's right-hand man, my older brother. Damien, you can help him. Starscream, I don't think so, but he does. At that point, Megatron looked at Damien fixedly. Damien, you can help him. Megatron, first Starscream send in our air soldiers and you tanker smash those bugs and show why you are the destruction specialist. Tanker, clear boss. Tanker turned into a tank and began to rapidly kill the parademons. Megatron, your thrust helps the fallen and takes them to heal. Thrust, of course, boss. Megatron, prove that you are worthy of your position. Motorcycletas drones. Thrust turned into a motorcycle and started driving, and many similar but obviously weaker vehicons gathered in an arrow position. Megatron, Sonic Attack Unit General Jetstorm shoots down those flying cockroaches. Jetstorm, sure boss, I'll make sure they regret facing us. Jetstorm turned into a jet and many vehicons got behind him. Megatron, Obsidian, meet up with the available vehicons and put together a strategy capable of winning with the least amount of casualties. Obsidian, okay, I'll listen to you this time. Obsidian began to emit a signal and joined several vehicons and began to put together a strategy. Megatron, Striker puts an energy field around us. What I will do, I don't want anyone to interfere. Striker, okay. Striker and the containers on his shoulders began to spin and create a force field. Megatron, Sniper Strike checks the perimeter and shoots everything that is not our allies. Sniper Strike, okay Megatron. Sniper Strike transformed into a helicopter and flew away. Megatron, the rest support Optimus, and leave me alone, even your Starscream. The others began to retreat, and Striker left a container that operated the force field. Megatron, I'm sorry for my delay. Damien, how can I save him? Megatron, I can give you an artifact capable of not only saving him, this suit that I believe will give you great power, but in return I want something. Damien, what is it? Megatron, I want you to be my subordinate. Damien, I can't, I have a family. Megatron, I don't want to go, I left them. I just want you to come and support me in taking care of my father when I need help. Damien, father? Megatron, you see the guy who is humiliating Trigon and Darkseid. Damien, is he your father? Megatron, yes. Damien, that he would need protection if he is very powerful. Megatron, Damien, the multiverse is immense that ensures that someone is interested in him for his power and wants him. After all, greed exists everywhere. Damien, okay, but what happened to him for you to worry so much about him? Megatron, I saw that you are trustworthy. Your friend Victor, or as you know him, Cyborg, he lost his robot part, and my brother gave him his suit that he believes is in fact the blue armor that is destroying the parademons. Damien, great, but actually tell me what he suffered. After all, I will not protect anyone who does not deserve it, and if they look for him it is because he did something. Megatron, he suffered too much. Megatron began to decay and turn into a human. Megatron, I'll show you, but what I say here, not a word will come out, deal. Damien, deal. At that, Megatron made a hologram appear. With Spiderman. Our wall crawler is humiliating both villains with his immense power. Peter, I thought they would be stronger. Darkseid, damned. Darkseid fired a beam from his eyes, but Peter deflected it with his bare hand. Peter, you disappoint me. But I have a question. Why do you use your daughter Trigon? Trigon, she is my daughter and I decide what is best and what is not. Peter, but did you think about how he feels, how he suffers? Trigon remained silent. Peter, I see that. No, you as a father must accept the fact that she is happy, she must choose a future, she does not want to be your dear. Did you love her mother or did you just use her to conceive your daughter? At that, Trigon began to remind his beloved that despite being a monster she loved him because she knew what he was like, but in the end his own people in an attempt to kill him used her as a decoy, and used her as a sacrifice to banish him, and the Reaper in anger killed them and took his daughter and taught her the basics. And then left her at 10 years old on Earth with a book of spells to strengthen her. But in the end he thought that all places were contaminated with evil, and he thought there was no salvation, so he thought of ruling everything and that there was a utopia but based on an iron fist. Note, I made this up because those who saw the Teen Titans cartoon will understand that Trigon is an overprotective father, and I wanted to put this idea here. Trigon began to cry, remembering his wife. Peter, I know what happened to you and your family, but there are also good people in the world, that's why I offer you my help. Trigon began to shrink and looked into Peter's eyes without seeing any intention of evil. Trigon, okay, but. Peter, but? Trigon, I want to fight because my son-in-law must not be weak. Peter, son-in-law? Trigon, if I decided, you will be my daughter's husband. Peter, wait, Speedster, you're going too fast, and I have to know her. Trigon, okay, then a fight. Peter, I must test my powers. In that moment it was aimed at Trigon's head so powerful that even Raven saw this in slow motion. But Peter in a quick movement put his body in the way. Darkseid, damn, you said you would help me. Trigon was furious, watching as Peter fell to the ground and knelt down. Trigon, angry, I will kill you for hurting my son-in-law. At that, Raven, who managed to hear that, blushed but decided to go see Peter. Raven, you'll be fine, I'll heal you. Peter, nice to meet you, I'm Spiderman, beautiful lady, and it's not necessary, now I'll heal. The beautiful lady's comment made her blush, and she stared at the horizon with a big blush. Peter, hello Earth, calling Raven. Raven, yeah, I'm sorry, let me help you. Peter, no need, I'm fine now. At that, Peter jumped up and showed him his back that was healed and that even the suit began to regenerate. Raven, great. Raven started touching Peter's back and he was left in a trance. Peter, it's not that I don't like him touching me, but I have to fight his father in a friendly duel. Raven, what were they talking about? Peter, let's say he won't try to control you anymore. Raven, shock, really? Peter, I never lie. I better go, then they will fix their father-daughter relationship. Peter started flying towards Darkseid, half dead. Peter, calm down, Bull. Trigon, are you okay? Peter, it's not a big deal, but now we're fighting. Trigon, excited, finally a worthy rival, our battle will be legendary. Peter, okay, but let me lock him up. At that, Peter put Darkseid in an energy sphere. Peter, okay, let's start. Trigon, the last one to fall wins. Peter, okay. With Megatron. Megatron saw a sad Damian finishing watching the sphere that showed a hologram. Megatron, that's his story. Damian, why? Just suffer, I didn't manage to see any completely happy moment. Megatron, yes, I know, that's why you know what it feels like to feel useless when you see a loved one die without being able to do anything. That's why you, Damian Wayne, accept. Damian, I accept. Megatron gave him a necklace. Megatron, put it on and you'll know the rest. Damian, wait, my brother? Megatron, while we were talking nanobots healed his wound, why do you think I don't know, he complained while we were talking. At that, Damian quickly turns around to where Hick was. Megatron began to leave Damian there with his brother, and the force field began to lose energy. Damian, how do you work? Hello, young Damian. Damian, who are you? I'm an AI, call me whatever you want. Damian, okay, Matthias, I want you to deploy armor. Matthias, okay, young Damian. Damian, this is great. At that, the force field disappeared completely, and several parademons began to come. Damian, we're going all out. At that point, Damian began to kill everything that crossed his path. Chapter 11, Sisterhood. In the 616 universe, you could see a lot of peace in all places of the world, and why? Good question, because everything happened a few days ago. The Chaos Brigade expanded and many former villains reformed by Spider-Man were there, but nobody knew who their leader was, because the Green Goblin denied being the leader and said he was second in command. Who was this person? Everyone made theories, but the only thing that was able to leak was that he was an X-Men, but nobody knew who he was because everyone denied it, except Scott Summers, who always boasted that he was the leader, but everyone called him crazy. Without knowing that it was true, because this was a very convincing strategy, because according to Peter, never let them see you coming, it ruins it. You must always stay small. You must be the fool, the leper, the unemployed lazy person. Look at me as an example. I am an underestimated hero from the beginning. You would never think that I am a being with enormous strength who makes jokes so that they trust you and I attack them by surprise. That is your only weakness. Scott, you are arrogant and you make yourself very strong, that is why you go with everything. You must underestimate them so that when they are off guard you attack them. You must be like that, Scott. Those words stuck in his mind. He always acted like before, so no one would ever suspect him of pretending to be weaker. And how is it that Scott, a very hated being, went from being a disgusting being to a very nice person, although nobody knew it? Flashback. It should be noted that this happened a few days after TOAA showed them Spider-Man's life. Only the heroines were still afraid to approach him. In the rain and after a big beating that Scott suffered from Juggernaut, he was in an alley with a bottle of rum drinking because all the X-Men saw him as crazy, and now Emma and Jenna saw him worse for finding out that he used them, and they also called him crazy for trying to kill humanity, and wanting to return with Jean or Emma, but nothing worked. Until he saw someone in front of him. He couldn't recognize him, but he passed out. Oh God, you're very serious. At that point the guy took him on his back and started swinging to his penthouse. Time skip. The man left Scott in a guest room and put a wet rag on his head and started making hot chocolate. After half an hour Scott seemed to wake up and managed to see that he was in a very luxurious room. He took the cloth off his head and began to analyze his surroundings. Scott, where the hell did I get myself into? At that a door opens and Scott instinctively put himself on guard but managed to see a person who was wearing casual clothes but was wearing a mask. Scott threat. Peter, that's what you call your savior. Scott, you brought me here? Peter, sure, ready, you're in my penthouse. Scott, yeah, you're sure, let's say I believe you're an insect. Peter, how many times have I repeated it? I am not an insect, I am an arachnid. Scott, whatever you say, why did you bring me here? What do you want from me? Peter, nothing, I just saw you lying in an alley full of water and you smelled horrible. There's a shower over there, take a shower and come back. I'll make some food. Scott smelled himself, and almost vomited, then went to wash up. Peter, wait, I left some clean clothes in your size in the tub for you to change into. Scott ignored him and went to take a shower. Scott was in the bathtub and he started to take off his suit and started to bathe. After about 15 minutes, Scott came down with clean clothes and smelled a very delicious meal, and he followed his nose and saw 2 plates, one was empty and the other was eating Spider-Man. Peter, sit down. Scott sat down and started eating. Scott, you're still a threat to me. Peter, I don't care what you think of me, in fact I don't care what others think of me. Scott, why? Peter, why what? Scott, help me, you know I treat you worse than shit, and yet you help me. Peter, I don't know, I just saw you and thought you needed help, plus I see goodness in your black and dirty heart. Scott, but I don't deserve your help, despite being trash to you, no, to everyone, and yet you see goodness in me, why? Peter, I already told you. I don't know why, but I will help everyone if it is within my reach. Scott, hey, and Spider-Man, can I stay here for a few days? Peter, woo, that's progress, don't call me a bug, okay, stay as long as you need, and if you need to talk to someone, I'm here. At that point some patrol cars start to ring. Peter, your room is on the 2nd floor, right side and 2 doors, okay, as you heard duty calls. Scott watched as Spider-Man began to swing, seeing how he was going to help. Scott, I'll find something that will make you fall, Spider-Man. And so a week passed where Scott tried to find something that would make Peter angry or something, but nothing, and he didn't know what to think of him now since he met him, and he always supported him in everything and advised him. Until one day Scott was in front of Peter without his visor, but since he didn't have his visor, Pete designed him some contact lenses that acted as his visor, and he could see what normal brown eyes reflected in order to stop seeing everything as a hammer, because according to Scott he saw everything as yellow. Scott, Spider-Man, I'm Scott Summers, not Cyclops, I want you to train me to be a hero like you. Scott leaned in asking for that request, and Peter simply smiled beneath his mask. Peter, you shouldn't call me that. Besides, between allies we shouldn't bow down, and call me Peter Parker, friend. At that, Peter slowly removed his mask, showing his face to a surprised Scott. Scott, I knew you were very handsome under that mask. Peter, tell me what you were really thinking? Scott, you had a spider face or deformed. Peter fell back at such a response. After that, Peter trained Scott. After a week, Clint came to insult and tried to hit Peter for putting him to shame, but he saw Scott and asked him for help to hit him, but he refused, and a beating later Peter offered him help to improve as a hero. Clint only accepted to put Spider-Man to shame. Author, Buck Double Evangelization. Peter's base location. Peter is seen in a capsule with many capsules helping him cope with the brain cancer that was affecting them, and there were Clint and Scott. Peter, it's good to see you guys. Scott, crying, Peter, I didn't find anything to help you. I think if we use Gene X, maybe that will cancel out the cancer a little, and we'll have more time. Peter, I don't think it will work, and I wouldn't want to artificially prolong my life. If I'm going to leave, I want to leave gracefully. Besides, how about that makes me a spider? Ha! Scott began to cry harder along with Clint, who looked with tears at Peter in his state. Scott, if that is your will, I will fulfill it. I can call you brother. Peter, sure Scott, I thought we were like brothers from another mother, ha ha ha. Clint, yes, from now on we will be brothers. Peter, Scott, if I don't make it, I want you to help not just one place, try to help as much as possible in all places in the world. If there are children with problems, ask Norman to help you help them, he will understand you, and I will soon give him the antidote to his serum. Scott, sure bro, I'll help as much as possible. Peter, I know you were brothers, and remember that they don't see you coming. At that, Peter closed his eyes. Scott, don't die bro. Scott started crying and hitting the capsule. Peter, idiot, I'm still alive, I'm just sleepy. Clint laughed at those funny scenes these two were doing. Clint, do you want me to do something for you? Peter, you take good care of my future niece and daughter-in-law, haha, and please make sure Scott gets a girlfriend, okay? Clint, sure, but I find Scott's situation difficult. Scott, vein in forehead, I'm still here, you know. Peter and Clint, we know. Scott went to cry in a corner with a depressing cloud, talking about brothers who don't respect him, or who think he will die alone. Peter, haha, they always brighten my day. See you later, my kids will take them to their homes. The two nodded, and an optimist led them, and they began to leave. End flashback. After that, the truth of Superior happened. Of course, Scott was still pretending. At a secret base, Scott could be seen sitting on a couch drinking tea. Until a Clint with dark circles under his eyes walked in, and Scott took off his visor and put in his contact lenses. Scott, how is my niece, brother? Clint, I haven't slept in a week. Scott, ha ha ha, my niece is so hyperactive. Clint, yes, and tell me, do you forgive me for the arrow in you know? Scott, I forgive you, we should have kept acting, but seriously, you didn't have a better place there, I don't know, MRD's bucking arm or chest, you idiot. Clint, no, we just had to make it look very real, changing the subject. Scott, and when will you go to Peter? Clint, I was told you were solving some problems there, and why don't you want to go? Scott, you know I'd love to go, but someone has to take care of the world and the so-called heroes wouldn't do anything, but yes, if there's a wedding or kids, I want to go. Scott started crying comically, imagining his niece or nephew being born and him not going to their birthday or something. Clint, don't worry, I talked to TOAA about it. He said he would call you when that happens so you can go. Scott stood up and started jumping for joy and then went back to his seat. Clint, how's business going? Scott, we help children in Africa and have opened many orphanages, schools and homes to protect animals. Clint, yes, it's going better, but something worries me. Clint spoke so seriously that Scott became the same. Scott, what happened? Clint, how will I get you a partner if I'm not here? That sentence made Scott fall off the couch. Then he immediately stopped with a vein on his forehead. Scott, annoyed, damn, you think I'll die alone? Clint, I don't think so, I know it will be like that. Those words hurt his pride as a man, and he dropped and sat in his seat. Scott, you are very bad. Clint, I know, well, I'm late, I'm leaving. Scott, say hello to your wife and daughter. Clint, I will do it. Clint, when he left, the door closed and the camera began to focus on Clint retreating, and he began to walk away, showing a very large base that was under the ice, and outside of it there was a feint so that they did not suspect. Chapter 12, Suffering 1. In a white place you could see TOAA watching everything that happened, and his brother at his side. TOAA, and tell me how the problem of your dimension is going. The precinct, it's going well, your son has almost fixed it. TOAA, and tell me, was it necessary to freeze time in your dimension? The precinct, no, but I wanted to see what was going on here. TOAA, I support you on that. With the supposed heroes. Wade narrates. Hello, how are you? Well, I don't know what to say about this story. The author has a very evil mind, and I think he should go to a psychologist. At that, a thunder is heard. Sorry about that, author, you'll see. Before all that stuff about superiors, I considered myself Spidey's best friend, and I trusted him so much that I introduced him to my daughter that now she hates me for separating her from her uncle. At that moment Wade took off his mask. If you were wondering why my face is fine, well, you see, I married Vanessa, but she slowly lost interest in me, and my face slowly disgusted her. Then she left me and went with the X-Men for her abilities. I was depressed, I shot myself in the head, but nothing. Then came the light that saved me from him. My best friend at that time, Spidey, told him about my situation. First he hit me for trying that and gave me a sermon why who would take care of my daughter. That helped me, but I felt like a monster with that face, and he disappeared for a week. I thought he forgot about me, but one day he came into my house, which was clean, so I had to relax, and the only thing I could relax was doing things around the house. He came in and came with a vaccine. He told me that it could cure my face, but I would still have my powers. I gladly accepted, and it worked 100%, but then as they thanked him, even I eat. We put him aside, I betrayed him, and there is not a day where I cannot dream how he sees me with those destroyed eyes while he slowly walks away from me home, and I see a katana with her blood because I thought that if it was a murderer, ha ha ha, I would say that a murderer should not be near his daughter for fear that he will do something to her. I feel worse than garbage. End of narration. Wade stared out the window while laughing and crying at the same time and shot himself in the head to try to soothe his pain with more pain. Narrated by Gwen. I was a normal person until I met him. We fell in love and he told me his biggest secret, that he was Spider-Man. I didn't judge him and I gave him my support, but something happened that devastated me because when I went to Europe to study I met Harry, his best friend, and we had some encounters and I ended up pregnant, but I didn't feel anything for Harry. It was just a moment of heat, and I complained, but in the end Norman said he would take care of it, but if he saw me with Peter he would tell him the truth. To be honest, I never thought I would say anything to him about it, but when he saw me near him, the bastard called him for something, but he didn't want me to say anything here other than pretending that my stomach hurt, and he took me to the hospital where I paid some doctors to say that I ate something and got sick. But there was that hitch, MJ, who wanted to get back what was hers, and when I told her, she blackmailed me at the first opportunity, telling me to stay away from him. I didn't pay attention to it either and continued with him. Until that idiot Harry had used his father's serum and turned him crazy. He attacked Peter like crazy, saying that he took him away from me. The bastard threw me and Peter couldn't save me, but at one point during the fall a portal opened when Peter couldn't see and I switched with another Gwen Stacy, and I fainted. When I woke up I looked around and I was in a hospital and my father was alive. I hugged him and went to Peter, but here Spider-Man did not exist. It was a few years before his first appearance, and everything went normally, but I was bitten on purpose to be the new Spider-Woman, and I called myself Ghost Spider or Spider-Gwen. I know it's very obvious, but in the end they killed this Peter. But it didn't hurt me much. This Peter was different, and I didn't feel the same, but he was a very good friend. Until the Spider-Verse happened, and I saw him again, I wanted to cry and tell him how much I missed him, but when he saw me he looked at me coldly. I asked him why that look, and I acted crazy so they wouldn't suspect it was me, because my suspicion was that they already told him the truth, and if they did tell him the truth, and I acted innocent, and started from scratch, and it happened that TOAA showed us his video even though I already knew almost everything. I already had to share it, but I messed up again. We left it little by little, and in the end when he wanted to explain something we rejected him, and when I saw that idiot Miles I gave him a kiss on his face, and he simply smiled and wished me happiness, and left there very calm. At that moment I felt my heart beg for him to forgive me, but my pride won out. When I found out about the superior thing I suffered like never before, and my sanity is slowly fragmenting. In fact, when I reached the universe that I now protect, the symbiote appeared, but it was different because it was not black, it was white, and it attached itself to me and whispers to me every night that I must make it mine. That if it does not love us, we can teach it to love us. And here we come, with my fragmented sanity and researching to be able to find it. End of narration. Then a thunder fell, showing Spider-Gwen with a new suit. Narrates Hope. Hi, I'm sure you know me and I'm Hope Summers. But my whole life has been hell since I was born. My parents left me aside and they didn't really care. And when I grew up I met the most important person for me. Spider-Man trained me to be able to defeat the mutants dominated by the Phoenix, and he sacrificed a lot so that we would all be safe. The idiot Barton lied, saying that he defeated them alone. Ha! As if he believed that a man with a bow could defeat Colossus and magic alone. When I saw my teacher he was devastated, and I don't know how he stayed standing. I thought that after that battle I would never see him again, but not him. He always cared about me. He attended my school meetings. I saw him as my father, but that didn't last long. I began to see him as a man and more when he showed me his face. I took it upon myself to investigate it, and I did. But his life was shit, and I decided to fix it. Then TOAA showed us everything and told me that he would erase his bad memories. I thought that finally, after waiting so long, he and I would be something better than the father-daughter relationship. But everything went to shit. He designated a certain group of girls and I was not included with Kamala, and we got bad, but we accepted it. But little by little, seeing him happy without us there, little by little we became, according to Kamala, yanderes. But I did not care until the change, but we both knew that it was not him, and when he apologized to everyone we were going to console him, she and I, but then Cassandra appeared. She told us that he could die from a rare cancer, but she only told us that we should leave him alone, but did not betray. Informed us that if we left him a little longer, and we entered as his heroines, and he would be forced to see us as something more, and if it does not work well there is always the good plan B. Grape him until he gets us pregnant and takes responsibility. After all, he would always take responsibility for his children. Narrated by Susan. I remember how I met him. He entered the Baxter building to try to ask for help to lock up a villain, but we told him no, but he gained confidence with Johnny and he became a member of the family. I must admit that I liked him a lot, but he was with the red-haired hitch and I knew that he would never betray her, and he told me about each of his days until Reed proposed to me and Peter was present. In order to try to make him jealous I accepted, and at that time Reed was very kind and I began to forget about Peter, but on the honeymoon he left me alone because the president needed his help for something, and you don't know how I felt. After that he slowly moved away from me until Peter got a special power and called himself Captain Universe, and that date was Johnny's birthday. Clearly he came and got drunk and was very bad, and I was very normal for not drinking as much as them. After that I took him to my old room to sleep because he slept with Reed, who almost never got into that bed. He looked at me and hugged me, and I don't know why or what, but when I smelled his scent all the beautiful moments I had with him came to my mind and I ended up abusing him. The next day I woke up and could barely stand up. I deleted the videos from the security camera. Then I thought that Peter would claim me, but no, he simply didn't remember anything and I got pregnant by him, and then Franklin got his power. With Hope's help I was able to make people believe that it was Reed who got me pregnant. But when I thought that Reed would change for his children, he didn't show anything. The only one who supported me was Peter, my brother, and Ben. I don't know why I didn't reject Reed's offer to marry him, but when TOAA showed us his life that I almost knew all about, he offered me to be with Peter after so much time listening to him, comforting him and being for him. He could finally be mine. But when the thing with his superiors happened, we slowly moved away from him, even the children that the boy left aside. But when they showed us everything, they don't know how much I suffered because of that, and even more how he rejected me, and I'm nothing to him anymore. But I don't care if he doesn't love me, I will teach him to love me. If he doesn't want to be by my side, I will make him dependent on me. Ha 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 ha. Peter Parker is mine. Ha ha ha. Sorry about that. What did I get off on? Well, it made me very angry to know that he slept with Crystal, and it made me feel a little sorry for Johnny, but what does it matter? Now I find myself in the basement of the Baxter building watching attentively as a very wounded and thin Reed Richards builds a machine to go to Peter and stay with him in that place because I don't want the Hitches here to try to take him away from me. Chapter 13, Suffering 2. The Cuckoos narrate. Hi, I'm Sophie and I'll start at the beginning. Well, we are clones of Emma Frost created from eggs that were stolen from her when the Sentinels attacked. At first we didn't know our purpose, but in the end Sophie and Esme, when they revived, told us that we were created to collect information from the X-Men and share it with the clones through nanotechnology, and in the end die. If we were mere tools, but at the end of it all, everyone saw us as vile monsters. But then a new chemistry teacher arrived. He came in as Spider-Man and we saw him as a simple jester, but he taught us well, we admit that. Celeste narrates. It's my turn to tell you what we agreed on, or if he was very nice to me but not to them. He approached us to ask why everyone looked at us with resentment. We told him the truth. We thought he would call us traitors, but no. He simply smiled at us and accompanied us to eat. We tried to get into his mind but nothing. He asked us why we were trying to get into his mind, but we told him we wanted to know what he really wanted. He calmly replied that when we had more confidence he would allow us to see his mind and that they should prepare themselves because what they saw might not please us. Months passed and we became very good friends. In fact, he was the first one we liked at 5, and when he told us that if we wanted to see his mind we should prepare ourselves. Esme narrates. It was my turn, after classes, and unfortunately it was his last day because he was only a substitute teacher, and after classes we met in the basement. He took off the mask he was wearing. I admit that we blushed a lot seeing that beautiful face, and he simply made himself. We all touched her forehead with a finger and saw many doors. We had to admit that her mind was very organized. We entered the first one that said childhood. When we came in we wanted to kill that Flash for being so rude. Then we went door to door, but every time we went from door to door his life hurt each one of us. We didn't know how he carried so much pain. After leaving he simply hugged us because we were crying unconsciously. Narrated by Irma. When we finished crying he dried our tears and gave us his number for anything, and we had to admit that he acted like a father and attended our parents' meetings as Peter Parker because at that time Emma was a hitch behind Scott and didn't even pay attention to us. We were very close until one day we disappeared and we were in front of the creator of everything and he showed us his life. Of course we knew everything, but it still hurt to see him again. When I mentioned that I would erase his bad memories and let him have partners, we got too excited thinking that we would finally be something more than father and daughter. But nothing. That old man simply stopped being the partner of some heroines. Even damn Emma, she could be with him like she was Scott's hitch with him. Simply because she saw how he suffered she became interested in him. If it weren't for that she would still be Scott's lapdog. We don't know how, but Scott began to change and we entered his mind thinking he was a clone or a robot, but no, apparently our Peter turned him like that, and we left him aside. After all, we weren't interested in him. We were looking for the jackpot, and I'm not referring to his spider condo. We don't mean that we wanted him for ourselves, but we didn't find a way to separate them until Madame Webb arrived. She informed us of what would happen. We told her that we would interfere without hesitation, but she explained to us that if we left him they would stay away from him. Phoebe narrates. And if we entered like heroines and he noticed us, and if not, well, we can easily force him. But the old man got into our plans again and said everything, and all those hitches regretted it. What hypocrites! And more, Emma, despite preventing him from seeing us, she wanted to ask us for forgiveness for not letting him see us, and we told him all the truths. But now, after a few months, we almost managed to complete our new plan and go look for what was ours. Normal narrator. In a black room sparks began to appear and what looked like part of a strange portal, and several female figures looking directly at it. At that the quintuplets started laughing in sync. Narrated by Laura. What a pain to do this, but well, I was a clone of the mutant Logan, and when he saw me he ended up adopting me, and we didn't have a great relationship, but we loved each other in our own way. Then he introduced me to his brother, everything but blood, Spider-Man. I saw him as a jester, and to be honest, his aroma drove me crazy. It was very difficult to resist, but my dominant instincts made me treat him badly to show who was in charge in the relationship. But despite treating him badly, he always treated me like a sister. I must admit that I liked his treatment, but not the sister thing. I wanted to be something better than a sister. Then that old man showed us his life, and I must admit that I ended up falling completely in love, and in the end I wanted to be his partner, but no, the old man had his favorites. I still don't understand how the two lapdogs of that idiot Scott were his partner, and I wasn't. What did they have that I didn't? I cried for days. Of course I never showed it, and every time I saw them I wanted to kill them, but I saw the same intentions with the quintuplets, or as they call themselves 5 and 1. It was very confusing to differentiate them, except for me. Pet, if I already knew their identity, he knew how to differentiate them, and I still don't know how. Then he changed drastically. I warned my father that he was not Peter, but he didn't listen to me. When he tried to explain to us who believed in him, they locked us in school. You don't know how I wanted to kill my stupid father for hurting him, and he simply left. After that I stopped talking to him, just like the quintuplets. Hope, but it did burn me to see the ungrateful rogue insult him, despite the fact that thanks to him she can touch people without fear of harming them. You don't know how I wanted to cut out her tongue. But one day while it was night I decided to leave that place and look for him, but a lady came in saying she was Madame Webb. She told me what had happened. I wanted to kill her for not helping him. Then she convinced me, saying that if I warned him he would continue with those hitches. Then she explained to me that she was gathering a group of women who are willing to give everything so that he would be hers. Obviously I accepted with difficulty because I didn't want to share it, but now the old man got in the way of our goal again and interrupted our greatest desire to be with him. But now we are better than ever. Soon we will be able to go with him and make him ours. Ha 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 ha. End of narration. Laura could be seen laughing like crazy while looking at some blueprints of a machine that could travel between universes. Magic narrates. Hi, you probably know me. I'm the younger sister of my stupid brother. Worse, why stupid? Well, it all started a long time ago. Colossus came and introduced me to a friend of his who called himself Spiderman. I saw him as a threat because of everything they said about him, but when you get to know him, he's a sweetheart. At first he was very shy because it seems he was a bit afraid of women, that they would hurt him again. But I don't blame him. He told me about his love interests, and everything ends in one thing, whether it's disappointment or betrayal. We became very close friends, too much for my brother's liking, but he told me that he had my approval, but we would have babies after we got married. I was very grateful and we gave each other a big hug. Then the creator of all TOAA showed us his life, and I must admit that seeing it was very different from hearing it. Then I thought I would have a chance to be his girlfriend, but no, the old man simply gave his blessing to a handful of women. I felt very bad and my brother found out and went to talk to him. But what hurt me the most was seeing that the old man not only erased his bad memories but also those of some of us. When I called him he didn't recognize me. I thought it was a joke, then I used a spell to see if it was a lie or not. But it was true. Apparently he forgot about me, and not just about me, about many other women. I finally understood what that old man did. The only way he would choose those hitches was by eliminating the beautiful moments we had. Author, seriously TOAA. TOAA, what do you want me to do? I have favorites, tell me, is it the same thing they did when they made Mika lose? There are always favorites, dude. I wanted my waifu to win. Author, our friend ours. You don't know how I cursed him that day. My brother tried to comfort me, but he couldn't. I was locked in my room for a whole month and everyone was worried, even Scott, who I discovered training with Peter, and I understood why he changed. Then the thing with his superior happened. I knew it wasn't him, and I confirmed it when I confronted him because I wanted to be his friend, to start over. But he totally ignored me despite telling him that I was Colossus' sister. I understood that it was not my Peter, but I could not hit him, and it is not that I could not. In fact, I could sweep the floor with him because his movements and blows were not typical of him. But I could not attack. It was his face, his body. He knocked him out. I went into a portal and tried to tell someone, but no one paid attention to me except for the quintuplets, Crystal, who was visiting, Hope and Laura, but no one believed us even though magic exists. Aliens, shapeshifters of all, they didn't believe in him. Even my brother didn't trust him, and when I found out he came back I tried to go out to see him, but Colossus stopped me from going. You don't know how much I hated him. Then I was going to go look for him, but a lady appeared and told me her plan, and that Laura, crystal, and the quintuplets accepted. I accepted it was my last option. I couldn't live without him. I need him, that's why now, thanks to investigating my powers thoroughly, I think we found the way to go where he only needs a little love. We will be together. End of narration. Silk narrates. Well, you should know my story. I met Peter as a civilian when he rescued me from a fire. We were bitten by the same spider, and that's why we really want to have Hex, because of the pheromones we give off. Then out of fear of the heirs I locked myself in a bunker for 13 years and he rescued me from that place. But I never thought about something serious with him. I cared more about Hex than being with him. I thought he would always be with me, but no. In the end, one day at night he declared his love for me on a full moon. Unfortunately, I did not accept it. They will say what an idiot you were, and I do not judge them. It has been done every day. I regret not having told him that I accepted. I remember his face full of tears when I told him that I only used him to please me and nothing more. I saw his broken look. I thought he was going to reproach me, but no, he simply put on his mask and told me that see you soon. I thought about following him, but I had my goals. When I finally completed my goals, I wanted to look for him, but I was afraid that he would despise me or surpass me. In the end, I never went. After a few months, I found out that he was dating Spider-Woman. You don't know how much it hurt me. But in the end, life is good. But in the end, it takes everything away from you. I planted what I cultivated. Then the creator of everything showed us his life. I didn't know how much he suffered, and in the end he gave me the opportunity to be with him again. You don't know how happy I was, but he would erase our sexual relationship from his mind. I didn't worry, but in the end life is usually a hitch or you cause that. The thing with my superior happened. He was indifferent, and it hurt me. I thought he remembered everything and I was scared, but apparently, change was not the same, and we all agreed to leave it. After he became normal again, he tried to explain what happened, but I ignored him, and when he mentioned the change of minds, I made fun of him and confessed that I only wanted him for Hex and pleasure, and that I didn't care, and if someone had a bigger hick I would keep him. Author, doubtful something like that exists. If I saw him have that look again, I wanted to comfort him, but in the end pride won me over and I let him go without first saying goodbye and that he would never love me. He would get into my life, but when he showed us the reality, I didn't know what to do. I lost him twice again. Right now I don't know what to do with him, but I'm sure of one thing, he will be with me again. When I faced Agent Venom, something from his symbiote stayed with me sleeping, but now he woke up. But it's different from the original. It seems dead but at the same time alive. It doesn't try to control me. It simply encourages me to get what's ours, ha 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 ha. Note: the image is not very good, and thanks to whoever gave the link to the image. On the chest part it has the design of the original suit, and the symbiote is half a color between purple and red. Spider-Woman narrates. Hello, I'm sure you already know my story. Radiation, Hydra, Agent, and then I'd betray them. I'd become a heroine with the alias of Spider-Woman. In fact, I'm very old, but because of the hibernation I had, my body only aged until what you see. I met the Spider Hero, and we had so much confidence in the final that he showed me his face. It was very beautiful, and in the end he told me that he was in a relationship with Silk, although it was just Hex. He thought that maybe, and just maybe, they could be something more. After he got ready with my help, he went to her and declared his love. I felt very jealous that it wasn't me. Why her and not me? Why she had it and I didn't? But in the end he came back crying because she only saw him as an object of pleasure. That day I felt two things: joy that she left him, but hate for doing that to him. In the end we became so intimate that one night we had Hex, and in the end we had many relationships because apparently our hormones also began to affect us. A good amount of time passed in our relationship until the Phoenix thing happened. Clint told me that he ran away like a coward. I don't know how I believed him, and the most stupid thing he said was that he defended me and that he helped everyone. I don't know how I believed that jerk. In the end I confronted him, but he... Flashback. Rooftop place. Spider-Woman, annoyed, how could you abandon me? Peter, what? Spider-Woman, yes, Clint, and he told me everything, you idiot. How after everything we went through you left me with the Phoenix to die. At that moment I saw Peter's look. It was one of sadness and disappointment. Peter, despite everything we've been through, you don't trust me. It seems you don't love me like you said. I won't defend myself. If you think I'm like that, keep believing in that. End flashback. In the end, I didn't understand what she meant, and she started dating Clint, but I have to say that it was as an act of gratitude, but in bed she had it so short that faking pleasure, an orgasm. Author, that was before Peter taught him. In the end, I ended up with Clint. I didn't care much and I decided to have a child because I felt older, and I went to a sperm bank and I had insemination and I got pregnant, and I solved things with Peter. Of course, I didn't know the truth, but I forgave him. I called him Jerry. Peter looked after him as if he were his own, but in the end, how much TOAA showed us the truth of his life. He almost killed Clint out of rage. If it weren't for TOAA, you don't know how stupid I felt, and in the end, he gave us a chance to be with him. Of course, he was going to change his mind and some memories. I accepted it, but in the end, I changed and I distanced myself from Jerry and I left like the rest of them. I listened to you. I let myself be influenced by that damn Hitch. Because of Carol, that Hitch has clearly changed. He's not the same anymore, damn bore. If I hadn't listened to you, he would still be by my side. In the end, when I found out the truth, Jerry, despite being a boy, looked at me with disapproval. You don't know how I regret leaving him after he left. I don't know what to do without him, but my sanity went away when I found out the truth about my son's father. I wanted to know who the sperm bank donor was, and I found out that it was Peter, who apparently had a big money problem and sold his sperm. What twists and turns life takes. It seems that the love of my life was the father of my son, and now I don't know how, but I will make him come back to me and no one else. I don't care about anything or anyone. It will just be him, me and our son. I already know where to start. I found out that Peter went to a universe called Ultimate because of a mystery. I just have to convince him to help me, and if he doesn't want to, then a good torture will fix everything. Ha 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 ha. End of narration. Narrated by Crystal. Well, to start, I was Johnny Storm's girlfriend from the Fantastic Four. To be honest, I did love him, but not as much as his friend. One day his friend Spiderman came sad. I asked him if Johnny was okay, but in the end he showed me a photo where he and at that moment Peter Black Cat's girlfriend were in the act. I started to cry. I wanted to go and kill them both, but he shook his head. Despite my condition, he told me that alcohol relieves the pain a little. We went to a bar where they served us some drinks. We started to get to know each other, and in the end, because of the anger we had towards that pair, we ended up having Hex. When I woke up, I began to remember everything, and I didn't even deny that I liked Hex much more than with Johnny. So we became like lovers for 2 months, but in the end I left him because I wanted to try again with Johnny. He declared his love for me that day, but I rejected him as politely as possible. Then when I went back to Johnny, I realized that it was not the same because Peter was dedicated, responsible, and many more things, in other words, the complete package. And in Hex I didn't feel anything with Johnny. I only pretended because the appearance ruined me for everyone except him. I tried to get closer to him again and I succeeded, but not in the way I wanted. He simply saw me as a friend. It hurt me every time he mentioned the words friends until the end. I hated that stupid phrase, and in the end I wanted to break up with Johnny, but if I broke up I wouldn't be able to communicate with Peter, so I had to pretend to love him to try to get Peter. One day I confessed everything to him, but he told me that he couldn't do that to his friend. I yelled at him that he was not his friend. What kind of friend slept with your girlfriend? He looked at me with a calm look and whispered in my ear. Ours was beautiful, but in the end it was just Hex. You want me to please yourself, you don't love me. He left, but it was a lie. I loved him for who he was, but I didn't deny that I really liked his little friend. In the end I couldn't get into his heart until TOAA. He showed us his life, and I must admit that my love grew much more, but when he mentioned the people who would be with his favorite son, I was not included. It was a low blow, and at that moment my sanity was completely broken. I tried to kill Susan and impersonate her, but a lady called me calling herself Madam Web. She told me the events that would happen. I told her that we should help Peter, but she convinced me that if we left him, all those hitches would leave him, and we have a clear path. That's why I'm with several women who are looking for the same thing as me, trying to figure out how to make a fissure in the space-time line and use it to go to another universe. Soon my Peter will be with me, lol. Narrated by Natasha. Hi, I don't know how to start. Well, what does it matter? I've been a spy since I was a child and all that, but when I lost my memory and became Nancy Rushman, Well, I fell in love with the civilian Peter Parker, and then I found out about his second life called Spider-Man. We were a couple and we were very close to getting married and, well, one night I heard him saying that he would buy a wedding ring and I got excited. But everything has its end and I remembered my memories. I still loved him, but I was afraid that you would reject me for not being able to give him children. I freaked out and told him who I was and I despised him again, if a complete stupid. In the end it hurt me to see him with other women. I wanted to claim that he belonged to me, but with what face would he say that? Then the supposed creator of everything showed us his life, and I must admit that despite being a couple he did not tell me much of his suffering. Then they gave me the opportunity to be with him, but with the condition that I would forget Nancy. I wanted to refuse, but I knew it was the only way for him to love me. Then when we became a couple and I told him about my problem of not having children, he managed to heal me in a week. In a week he asked me if I already had a child with him, if I had said yes. But in the end I screwed up again and I left him. That wasn't bad. The bad thing was that I didn't listen to him when he tried to explain what happened, but I didn't want to listen to his story. I lost him again. When they showed us the truth, I didn't know how I wanted to go and ask for forgiveness in any way, but I was too late. He was gone. I didn't know what to do with my life, but I realized that maybe, just maybe, I could get him back. At that time I investigated how interdimensional travel works. I am now in a hider base that deals with this issue, and if I find something useful here I might be able to go with him. Phoenix narrates. Well, you already know what happened and how I ended up with my Anansi, I guess, but what does it matter? I was a very powerful cosmic being and I fell in love with a god, the kindest and most gentle Anansi. Then I betrayed him in the worst possible way. When I learned that he died but would be reincarnated, I went from world to world looking for her reincarnation or some clue of her whereabouts, but nothing until I got tired and decided to rest, and when I woke up I was in a woman named Jean Grey. I possessed his body to continue looking for him, but I found his essence in that same place. I wanted to look for him, but they stopped me and I went back to sleep. When I woke up but no longer controlled my body, I decided to observe and I saw it. It was him. He was as beautiful as the day he left me, but I couldn't do much for him. I was afraid he would remember everything and that would scare me. I didn't want to lose him, not again. But when TOAA showed us his life, he almost managed to get out of Jean's body just to kill those hitches and 1 or 2 attackers on my property. TOAA gave me the option to be with him, and I gladly accepted. I pretended to be a clone of Jean so that no one would suspect me. Then I managed to be with him, but in the end he changed. How stupid I was to think that he had changed, and when I looked at his memory I found nothing without thinking that maybe he had something that nullified my powers in certain areas. I left him like the rest, and when he tried to explain we beat him like never before, and he never defended himself. Then they showed us the truth. They don't know how much I suffered. I wanted to go back to him, and if he didn't want to I would force him, but I don't know why he got up and managed to win me over. I lost him again, and now I'm accumulating my power to be able to go to him. I don't care how much time passes, but he will come back to me. Narrated by Madam Web. Hello, you already know me. I am Julia Carpenter. I was known as the second Spider-Woman under the tutelage of Spider-Man, although nobody knew it. Later I was known as the second Arachne and finally as Madam Web. I fell in love with Peter a long time ago in my early days of Spider-Woman, but I was afraid he would reject me. In the end, when they turned me into Madam Web, I wanted to leave him because I knew that if I continued taking care of him I would go crazy for him. But when my daughter Rachel said she met a handsome young man, I congratulated her, but everything went to shit when she mentioned the name Peter Parker. I told him he was not a good man, but he replied that he would not leave him and confronted me. But that day all the years of containing my love exploded. I told her the whole truth while I was choking her, and demanding that she get away from him because that spider already had an owner. Then I realized what I did. I apologized to her, and I don't know how she understood me. Then she showed me that she had the same abilities as me as a spider. I got excited for her and trained her, of course, without neglecting my work. But I no longer focused on trying to forget him. In fact, I spent almost the whole day watching him, but I didn't want to interfere. I was afraid that after leaving him alone he would criticize me. When he showed us his life TOAA, I was surprised at how he endured so much. I got excited when he said that he was going to have certain partners. You don't know how excited I got. But everything went to shit when he gave the couple position to his favorites. They don't know how that night he destroyed everything he had at hand. Then I didn't know what to do, but then I got enlightened. I knew that Otto would take control of him, and if he controlled him they would get away from him. It was very risky, and I realized that he would have cancer, and I began to think if it was worth it, but my daughter ended up convincing me that if we helped her he would be ours forever. Then I realized that many women were just as in love with him as I was, and I gave them a chance to be with him. But when we were going to him, the damn old man got in our way again and showed us that fact even though we already knew. But now he will be ours forever even if it costs me my life. Ha 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 ha. End of narration. In an unknown place you could see many female silhouettes, but in the middle was Julia. Julia, I gathered you here with the purpose of welcoming a woman who loves Peter as much as we do, even though she has hurt him, and she is the one who helps us with the money. Please welcome a great new sister, she is Maria Hill. At that point Maria Hill appeared while looking at everyone with a smile. Laura, but she made his life impossible just because of that damn mustache. Julia, and I know it, but she regrets it, and she showed it because all the materials we have, she gave them to us as an act of trust. Tell me, we will reject her, and that thanks to her we have made great progress. Crystal, even though I hate to admit it, without her we couldn't build anything we have. Hope, it's okay. Then little by little everyone began to accept her. Location, Chaos Brigade Base. Scott was talking to Clint on his cell phone. Clint, today we're going to Peter's. Scott, I would like to visit it. Clint, that's why you, me, Norman and Peter's daughter will go. Scott, but how will I get back? Clint, that's why you'll be there for 2 days and then you'll come back. Scott, I'm cutting you off. Pack my bags, I want to see that world. Clint, of course I have to tell Norman to prepare Sarah. Scott, sure, bye. Scott was packing his bags while in one place a guy who had intercepted the call smiled twistedly. We'll see you soon, Dad, lol. Chapter 14, Issues. Clint stood with Scott, Norman and Sarah standing in front of TOAA. TOAA, how are you, dear granddaughter, children? Sarah, okay, Grandpa, but we'll go soon. I want to see my dad. TOAA, yes, we just need to go to one stop. We will go to your Uncle Johnny and his son. Sarah, 4? TOAA, let's say Danny enhanced his powers and now has dominion over his biological father's territory. Sarah means. TOAA, yes, the soul of May Parker, her daughter, will return, but she gave her soul, Leah and little Tim. Clint, that means. TOAA, he will not revive them as such, his soul will take them to Peter, and when he has children 2 of them will be born as Leah and Tim. They will not remember their sad past, they will be happy. Note, Leah and Tim's souls should be in heaven but Mephisto interfered. That made the 3 of them happy, and they opened a portal and they all entered, finding themselves in front of Johnny and Danny. Johnny, how long Clint and Scott are single? Scott, annoyed I'm not single, I just can't find the ideal woman. Johnny, yes, repeat that until you believe it. Look, she's one of my favorite nieces. Johnny stroked Sarah's head, and she acted like she didn't care. Sarah, I'm big now, and where's Danny? Nadia, he's coming, he said he would talk to Mephisto about some things. At that a portal of fire opened and showed Danny with his very normal clothes, but he had 3 jars with a white sphere. Clint, how was he a champion? Danny, let's just say he'll never mess with the family again. Place X. Toretto sneezed. Toretto, family comes first. X, what are you talking about? Toretto, you're welcome, I'm just proud of someone. The fiction is back. Scott, well said, champion, and now we are ready to go on vacation. Clint, you go on vacation and they go too, I'll go stay there. At that TOAA opened a portal with some nervousness. TOAA, I hope everything has been resolved. When they opened TOAA he closed his eyes in fear of finding something bad until he heard the WOO from everyone. TOAA opened his eyes and was surprised because everything was in excellent condition, but a flashpoint did not occur to restart it. He would ask his son later and decided to look for him and found him in an office, and the building said Osborne Enterprises. He smiled and carried everyone with him with a snap. Everyone saw that he was in a room, but there was a seat in the window, and the chair was turned over. Clint, what are we doing here? TOAA, how long, son? At that the chair turned very dramatically and a very changed Peter was revealed. Choose that look or it is. Clint, Peter? At that Peter gets up and kicks him in the bottoms, making TOAA kneel. Peter, that was for my memories. TOAA, nice to see you again. Scott, is that really you? Peter, not your old idiot, who else, ha ha ha. At that point he received a slap from Norman. Norman, there are young people here. Peter, long time no see, Dad. Norman, yes, very much, and I like how you created your own company and what you called it. Peter, I wanted to call it Parker Industries, but they took away my last name, and I didn't like to remember it, and I remembered that you gave me yours, so we called ourselves Umbrella. Clint, seriously, and you don't manufacture medicines, or do you? I don't want another zombie apocalypse, you understand? Peter, yes, it was just a joke to annoy. The company is called Osborne Enterprises. We are dedicated to each branch. We are the complete package. Johnny, and the hair and eyes, don't tell me they already left you in the friend zone and you did the famous closing cycles, but you took it to an extreme case. Peter, ha ha ha, what a good joke. To be honest, I don't know for sure what happened, but one morning I woke up like this. TOAA, could you tell us? Clint, wait a minute. Clint left for a while and came back with popcorn and drinks. Scott, where did you keep that? Clint, I don't know, I guess it's the magic of the script. Laura gave him a slap on the head and buried him in the cement, leaving his face marked. Note, Laura is Clint's wife in the MCU. Laura, stop that nonsense, you're scary. Scott, I won't deny it, you look like Wade. Peter, then pavement that good, where do I start? Peter narrates. When I got here there was the middle of the war and I helped them along with my other children. Well, the thing is that I managed to reconcile a broken family of father and daughter. I revived their mother. I still don't discover how I did it, but they are details, and I made the father a being with immeasurable power go from this to a kind man of the house who only thinks about his daughter and taking care of his wife. Scott, you screwed up, Fernando. Peter, I'm going to ignore that. Well, after that I humiliated a certain Darkseid. I managed to save everyone's lives and I gave them back their humanity. I forgot something, and that is that I did all that without anyone knowing my identity, and I became friends with Lucifer, who would be like our Mephisto. Note, I will use Lucifer from the Netflix series, that is, Tom Ellis's daddy, plus Maze being with Eva if they get married here. Well, apart from the fact that I revived thousands of dead people, as I said, I don't know how, but nothing. Well, after that the heroes here told him what I did, and well, now I'm a symbol of peace and you know what's normal. Then I opened my company and that's it, and tomorrow I have a business meeting with Martha Wayne. That would be all. End of narration. Scott, okay, don't waste your time and tell me you found someone to share your life with. Peter, there is no one, although they look for Spider-Man a lot, but I am still me. Scott, I hope you don't get too cocky and tell me you're not interested in that Martha Wayne. Peter, I don't know her. In fact, tomorrow will be the first time we talk in person. Johnny, okay, let's change the subject. Danny, give him his gift. At that, Danny gave the jars to Peter. Peter, what are they? That's when they start explaining everything to him. Peter was crying as he looked at the jars. Peter, so what do I do now? Danny, just break the jar and his soul will go to the presence who will take care of the rest. Peter broke the jar very delicately and released the souls. Laura, and how are my nephews? I don't see them. Peter, well, some are at home or school, and others became heroes and joined some group. Norman, did Optimus join any? Peter, yes, but that is his hero name. He joined the Justice League at the request of Cyborg. Well, he is no longer one, but this author was too lazy to give him another name, and they tried to get information from me, but they know what he is like. Norman, And what are they called in civilian clothes? Peter, and I registered them. Well, Optimus is called Benjamin, Bumblebee is called Matthias, and then I'll tell you the others. The author ran out of imagination. Author, I'll stop doing that. I just don't know much about names. Peter, yes, and I am a reptile. Well, I don't know if the king of monsters is considered a reptile. Well, after the author was able to nail boards to the wall, they spoke again. Norman, leaving aside where we will stay. Peter, well, I have a beach house or a mansion. All beach house. Peter got a drop anime style because everyone was wearing swimsuits. Peter, well, I'll tell them to clear my schedule, let's go. Peter got up and they went down the elevator and drove to the beach house. When they left the office, a small portal opened and a man came out and took off the mask that covered him, revealing Gabriel. Gabriel, we'll see what happens here, Father. Gabriel used a kind of suit that made him invisible and began to search for information and followed his father. Gabriel, great. I don't know how, but Claro has internet in another dimension. I knew their commercials didn't lie. Author, Peruvians will understand. Peter was in front of a beach house like everyone else because he was big. Peter, whoa, I didn't imagine it would be like that when I grew up. Clint, you never came? Peter, no, I was a bit busy and I'm here for the first time. Scott, then let's enjoy it. At that point, everyone went to change and go to the beach. Meanwhile, in 616, the group of yanderes was in front of a portal. Maria, will it work? Madam Webb, I'm not sure, just keep your fingers crossed. Then they turn on the machine but nothing happens. Laura, annoyed, why doesn't it work? Hope, surely the calculations are wrong, we must find the correct coordinates, and change the destination, but it would be useless. We need people who know about this subject. At that, the face of several girls rises a lot. Crystal, I know who can help us. Medusa, who? Crystal, well, surely Reed Richards' brain must know something. We just have to convince him. How is Black Bolt? Medusa, that useless guy. I don't know and I don't care. Now he must be with his concubines. The only good thing is that I managed to separate myself from him. Kamala, I think I know someone who knows about this topic. Cuckoos, who? Kamala, mystery. Peter told me that one day he was taken to that universe by accident from a machine that created mystery. He should know about this. Julia, then split up. One group goes for Reed and another for Mysterio. All okay. The first group that would go to Reed was made up of the Cuckoos, Maria Hill, Magic and Rachel would go to Reed to look for him, and the second group was made up of Julia, Crystal, Laura, Hope and Medusa. With the first group, they all walked straight to the Baxter building. They entered easily thanks to Magic with the portal. Then they looked for all the rooms, but there was no one in any of them until they decided to enter Susan's room. Sophie, you feel that aura of terror? Irma, yes, sister. Magic, no, they are not the only ones. Mari would slowly open the door, but the room was intact, clean too much. Maria, look, there must be something around here. At that point, everyone started looking until they saw that Sophie was standing still in front of the closet. Sophie, you have to see this. At that point, everyone came closer and was surprised by what it contained. Thousands of photos of Peter Parker and his alter ego, also old newspapers of Peter cut out, and a photo of Peter and MJ's wedding, but instead of her face there was a photo of Susan. Magic, she lost her mind. Rachel, this is the one who has everything in her room under her bed. That's right, read to Magic, who hid behind Maria. Celeste, hey, look at a diary. And it was true that in the center of the altar there was a diary with a padlock. Maria, leave it to me. Maria used some small pens and opened it in a few seconds. Esme, I'll read it, okay? Diary. Day 1. Hello, dear diary. I'm Susan, and today I bought you to vent a little. Well, today was a very good day. I met a very handsome boy. His name is Peter Parker. It seems he is a friend of Johnny. He is very kind and I like him, but he has a girlfriend. But according to what Johnny told me, it is just time for them to separate again, and I enter. Day 15. Hello, dear diary, it's me again. Well, today is a great day. It seems that Peter finally separated from that redhead. It's time for me to come in with the best. Day 16. Hello, dear diary. Things didn't go very well for me yesterday. I didn't have enough courage to tell you my emotions, but I will tell you soon. Day 39. Hello, dear diary. Peter is dating a stray cat. I don't know what to do to make him notice me. I think the best thing is to let him be happy. Day 40. Hi, well, today Peter broke up with the redhead again. Well, what does it matter? These days Reed is getting very romantic with me. I hope he helps me get pet out of my head. Day 50. Hello, diary. Well, today Reed proposed to me. I accepted simply on a whim. I hope I didn't make a mistake and managed to forget Peter. Day 69. Hello, diary. I am very confused. I no longer love Reed, but yesterday I don't know if it was right or wrong, but I took advantage of my best friend Peter. I don't know how he will take it if I tell him. That's why I prefer to leave it a secret. Day 128. Diary, today finally after so long I am finally with Peter thanks to TOAA. Now we are a couple. Even though I have to share, it doesn't bother me. I hope we are happy forever. Day 221. Diary, today I left Peter. I don't know what happened to him, but he changed. I don't know what to do with him. I think I did well in leaving him. Even my children supported me. Day 336. Water stains could be seen on this page. Hello, dear diary. Today I discovered the truth of everything. I tried to prevent him from leaving, but he rejected me. I don't know what to do. I'm devastated, and my children tried to cheer me up, but nothing. Day 342. John, he took the kids with him to a summer house so they could relax and I could have space. Reed is very insistent with me these days, but I hate him. You don't know how much I want to kill him. Day 466. Hello, diary, it's me finally. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to force stupid Reed to build a machine to go with my Peter. I plan on staying with him. After all, if I go back with him, the hitches here will try to take him away from me, and if he doesn't want to simple, I can force him to love me. I can teach him to respect me. Although alone, I'm not interested in my children. I've already given them a lot of time. It's time for me to be happy, but I won't leave them. When I have a very secure life there, I will come for them. After all, there will be fast. End of the diary. Nobody knew what to say, but they were angry. Susan wanted to keep her little spider. Magic, where is she? Sophie, I don't know, but I'll kill her. At that they felt the atmosphere begin to compress. They all look at the entrance, and see standing in front of them a Susan with a different outfit than usual. This one was black, and instead of the four there was a white spider, in addition to revealing a little more of her cleavage. Susan, what a surprise, the dogs are here, and I'm in a very bad mood. I need to relax, and what better than to kill them, so one less obstacle. Magic, what makes you think it will be so easy? Susan, nothing, just that they are within my power now. I crushed them or took away their air. Magic quickly opened a portal and they all appeared on the other side of the room. Susan, your power can be useful to me. I won't kill you. Celeste, what do you want? Susan, what you guys are saying, claim what's mine. Magic, for all the harm you did to him, it is impossible for him to forgive you. I propose a deal. Help us find him. Go to him. We need Richard's brain. Susan, and why didn't he kill them and I keep Peter for myself? Maria, easy. We have resources and plans. We just need the coordinates of the trip, and enough information to make it safe. With you we will get the coordinates, and now the others look for mystery. He may know a lot about traveling between worlds, so, what do you say, deal? Susan just stood there and calmed down. Susan, deal. Magic, where is he? Susan, downstairs. Susan led them to the elevator and entered a code, then the elevator went straight to the basement. Maria, I like the way you think. Susan, yes, follow me this way. They walked a little but noticed that the place was somewhat destroyed. Rachel, who did you fight with? Susan, the portal I had Reed create exploded and destroyed everything, almost beating him to death for failing. When they finally reached a kind of cage, inside it was an emaciated Reed Richards, very malnourished, and with bruises on every part of his body. Reed, I don't wanna fail. Magic, you really broke it. Susan, slave, I need you to do one last job and you will rest. Read, CLA sure. Susan grabbed a chain and put it around his neck. Susan, let's go. Magic opened a portal and transported them to her base. With the second group. Kamala, where do we start looking? Julia, I know where. They put him in a warehouse. That's his last place. We'll start there. They all arrived at an abandoned warehouse but saw that there was a portal, but it was destroyed and very damaged. Hope, it seems that we are not the only ones who want to go where he is. At that moment, Medusa stops a stinger that was thrown from a corner. Medusa, who is there? At that point, everyone stood in a circle and a spotlight turned on, showing a mystery hanging with chains and without a helmet, but showing signs of torture. Laura, I smell spiders. 3 very well-known women appear in the shadows. They were Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen and Silk, but they had something strange. They all had a symbiote. Note, I forgot to say that Jessica also had a symbiote. Laura, TKS bugs. Gwen, hi Kamala, how long? In that case, Gwen's suit reveals her face just like the other 3. Kamala, hi, why are you doing this? Gwen, at first I was going to do it alone, but the 4 of us met here and decided that 4 are better than 1. Julia, 4? Laura, jump. Then the floor where they were fell and there was acid. Jessica, what reflexes, Laura? Then Anya appears on his back. Anya, hi Hope, Kamala. Hope, it seems that the symbiote brainwashed you guys. Silk, they think they control us, we are united, they help us, they do not interfere with our goals. After that they started to fight brutally, leaving the winery in complete disaster. Julia, let's stop this madness. You know we'll be fighting for days if we continue like this. Better yet, why should we unite? They say that together we will achieve our goal. I saw that your machine failed. The sample works, it just needs a few details. So help us and let's get what's ours. Julia reached out to Gwen and took off her mask and gave a very creepy smile. Gwen, I accept Julia. After that they took Mysterio to their base, and they all introduced themselves to the new members. At that point the machine began to turn on, and give off a yellow glow, but it turned off. Laura, why doesn't it work? Julia, lack of power, damn it. X, are you missing this? A shadow threw a reactor at them just like Stark's. Julia, who are you? X, someone who is looking for the same thing as you, to get the man we love. The shadow stopped and threw itself in the middle, revealing Natasha. Natasha, I want to go with you, I'll try. Julia smiled and extended her hand. Julia, nice to meet you, sister. Then they turned the machine back on, but with the strength of Rector Arc it turned blue. Julia, it works. They were all happy, but one shadow was smiling and had fangs. X, the totem, I will finally consume you. The shadow revealed itself, showing Morlun, but he gave off a yellow power, and his eyes were yellow. Morlun, I'll finally kill you, Spider-Man, ha 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 ha. Chapter 15. Never touch my loved ones. Peter and his friends were on the beach. Peter was sunbathing, and every woman who saw him blushed because of his muscles and that face carved by the gods themselves. That hair, and when they looked into his eyes they died seeing such tremendous beauty. It seemed that the sun was concentrating on his body and showing his beauty. Peter was talked by his daughter Sarah into playing volleyball with his friends. After half an hour of playing, everyone was eating food they ordered. Peter looked at the bill and wondered why it cost so much. Peter, no way, literally, for a glass of spring water they charged me more than $300. What a rip-off, I should have drank tap water. Peter was about to drink a soda, but someone with a sheet of paper with the bug's face on it threw the soda at him and gave him a bottle of water. Bug, water yes, Coke no. At that the bug began to fade and disappeared. Peter, what? What does it matter? Peter started to drink his water, but then he gets a call from Lucifer. Peter, what does the Lord of Hell want? Lucifer, hi, long time no see, Peter. I found something very interesting. I think you would like to see it. Peter, who is it? Lucifer, come to Lux and you'll be surprised. Peter, Okay, I'm back from 30, see Lucy. They cut the call, and then Norman touched his shoulder. Norman, who was the son? Peter, Lucifer, he says someone came and will surprise me. Hey, you guys should know the best bar in the whole city. Note, they are in Las Vegas, and Chloe is pregnant, and I don't know if you know, but this Lucifer will have the power of the comics, meaning he is the second strongest being. Norman, but the children? Peter, you can stay in my penthouse. Norman, but you know how they are. Peter, John, what do you think? There are drinks, snacks, and games. John, I think that's fine, and I haven't had a drink for a while. Clint, I'm upset. At that point, Clint's wife started pulling his ear. Laura, where are you going? You forget that we have a baby. Clint, yeah, just kidding. Laura, I hope so, Clint, otherwise you won't eat for a month, and I don't think you'll survive on your rice and burnt egg. When everyone heard this, they laughed at that fact. Scott, ha, okay, Clint takes care of the kids and Laura takes care of Clint. Laura, rest assured, brother-in-law. Scott, ha, come on, Peter. Peter nodded and tossed Clint a key and an address and some money for the taxi. Peter, Norman, Scott, John and TOAA got into Peter's car. John, it's good that my wife had business and didn't come. Imagine if she sees me drinking. Peter, I can already imagine you begging for mercy to appease his anger. TOAA, it is true that the anger of a scorned woman is capable of any madness. The 5 of them went to the Lux, which surprised the 4 of them since they had never known such a luxurious place in its dimension. Peter greeted the guard and entered, earning the glances of all the women, and entered the elevator with his guests, and when they arrived they saw Lucifer on the couch hugging his wife. Chloe, hey Peter, you didn't tell me you were coming and who your friends are. Peter, Chloe, he's my father Norman and he's my grandfather TOAA, he's my brother Scott. Dimensions 616. A wolf cub felt a prick in his heart. Back to history. Peter, he is my best friend John, and my brother Clint did not come because his wife did not let him. Chloe stood up and greeted everyone, even though it was a bit difficult for her to move because of her 5-month-old belly. Peter, Lucy, why did you call me? Lucifer, well, I detected a crack in space, but it was your friends, but I detected that there was an unknown signature, and I asked MaximAngel for a favor, and look who we found. Lucifer took them to a hidden room. Chloe, I didn't know this place existed. Lucifer, if it is that it was dirty. At that point Lucifer looked at a box of toys that he used to use, and with a movement of his hand he disintegrated it discreetly. When they arrived they saw a person hanging with a sack on his head. Lucifer, do you want to do the honors? Peter approached the body, and when he opened it he was shocked to see Gabriel's face and stepped back in surprise. Nobody believed what they saw, but Lucifer and Chloe did not understand well. Lucifer poured the drink on him. He was hitting the target, awakening him. Gabriel, when he looked everywhere, did not understand but tried to escape. Norman, Gabriel, what are you doing here? Gabriel, hello Grandpa, I came to kill my father. Norman, how many times have we talked about that? Gabriel, your lie. The one who killed my mother should pay. Peter didn't know what to do, but he approached and touched the wounds on his face. Lucifer, sorry for the state of the human, but it's not my fault, you know how MaximAngel gets. Gabriel, who are you? Peter, I'm Peter, I've changed so much. Gabriel began to move abruptly, but he couldn't achieve anything and he stopped trying. Gabriel, what are you going to do to me? Peter, I'll heal you. Peter touched his face and all the wounds disappeared. Gabriel, I will never forgive you. I will kill you as soon as I get out of here. Peter, I think it's time for you to see the truth. Peter touched Gabriel's forehead with 2 fingers and Peter's electric blue eyes began to glow, and everyone backed away. Gabriel's mind. It was a white place, and in that place were Peter and Gabriel. As it was obvious, Gabriel began to attack Peter, but he dodged everything until he left him on the ground and pulled his arm. Peter, calm down, I'll show you the truth. The white room became a stage. Peter, I hope you accept the truth. outside Gabriel's mind. Gabriel started to cry some tears while Peter kept touching his forehead. Until after 5 minutes Peter only looked at Gabriel's forehead, who opened his eyes and began to cry as if he were a child. Peter released him and gave him a hug, letting him vent about so many years of lies. And in the end Gabriel ended up falling asleep on Peter's shoulder. Norman, what did you do? Peter, I showed him the truth. Lucy, I'm going to leave. I have to leave him at home. I'll leave the emotional shock a few more hours ago. Lucifer nodded and they left that room, but in that Lucifer saw something that made him open his eyes in shock. Lucifer, Peter! Peter walked out of the room and looked at Lucifer. Peter, what? Lucifer, look, that's not your home. Peter didn't understand, but when he looked at the TV his eyes widened and his pupils dilated. But what did he see? He saw his home destroyed and the newscast focusing on how the Justice League was facing a strange being and most importantly, that his loved ones were on the ground injured and a Clint facing Morlun, but this one was different. This one emanated a strange energy, but his instincts already knew that it was King Ghidorah. At that Peter's blue eyes began to shine brutally, showing a brutal fury scaring his present friends. Lucifer, leave the boy here. I'll take care of everyone. You know my father won't let me interfere. I'll take you there. Lucifer spread his wings and transported himself to Peter, and then returned. Norman, what will happen? Lucifer, I don't know, all that's left is to pray for that poor guy. I'll reserve him a private place in hell. He should never have messed with Peter's family. But the glass that Lucifer held began to crack and finally broke. But why? Seeing Peter's family damaged and worse the children there with injuries made him furious and his eyes turned red. Lucifer, I myself took care of your punishment, bastard. Chapter 16, The King's Wrath. Peter appeared near the battle and his Spider-Man suit manifested, but it was corrupting. He began to swing where the battlefield, and his suit appeared black cracks as if he were venom, but it was not that, it was different. When he got to the battle, everything was destroyed and a green dome covered everything. If he remembered correctly, this was from Green Lantern. She created the force field so that the civilians would not be harmed, but he was so angry that he did not care about the shield, and went through it creating a crack and continued running until he found a very injured and tired Clint on the ground. But how did we get to this point? Flashback. Clint had just arrived at Peter's house and they all went up and the kids started playing and he and his partner sat on the couch, and when they were about to turn on the television Clint used his body to protect Laura from the debris caused by the wall. Clint pulled out the rubble and in a quick movement he carried his wife and then went for the children and jumped off the building, and when he fell to the ground he told them to hide. He was intently opening up to the enemy thinking they were after Peter Parker for his money. In that he saw the image of an enemy that he never wanted to see again. It was Morlun. Morlun, the archer, tell me where the totem is. Clint, how did you get here? More importantly, how are you still alive? Morlun, let's just say I made a little deal for this opportunity. Morlun lit his right hand in golden fire, and then extinguished it. Morlun, I will finally kill the totem and consume it. Clint, you almost hurt my family and I'm not as weak and cowardly as last time. Morlun, no arrows? Ha 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 ha, don't make me laugh, you're just a blind man. Morlun did not finish receiving a punch from Clint that sent him crashing. Then a ship came down from the sky and it was the Justice League. Batwoman, who are you? Clint, it's not important, don't get involved. Superman, friend, we can help. Clint, stay out of this. He tried to kill my family, I'll return the favor. Batwoman, but... Clint, I'll leave him alive, he won't move but he'll breathe, leave me alone. Clint wanted to show his strength, and he was the best opponent. Clint, shall we begin? Clint began to release a green aura and his hair began to levitate. Morlun smiled arrogantly and began an exchange of blows. They could barely be seen, there were only two trails, one green and the other yellow, hitting each other blow after blow. The Justice League was impressed by this and planned to unite them. Those who had powers found it difficult to see them, and Batwoman, due to her arduous training and experience, could see it with difficulty, but it was better than nothing. They continued in that exchange, but little by little Clint began to lose ground, and that worried the League, but they should not get involved until they saw it necessary. Clint could only dodge and take hits in the end, and he wanted to give it his all, even though he knew it was risky. He stopped in the middle of the fight. Morlun, what? You surrender, Archer, ha ha ha. Clint, give up? Sorry, I updated my dictionary and that word doesn't exist. Clint screamed at the sky. His skin turned red and his veins stood out, and he looked like a river of lava. Clint, I'll kill you, damn it. At that point Clint began to savagely hit Morlun. His blows were so fast that only a small red trail could be seen, which could barely be seen, and Morlun was mere prey to the tremendous tiger, and that was how it was for a few minutes. Morlun's body was lying in pieces on the floor covered in blood and bruises. Clint walked slowly to where he was, and when he was about to finish him off, Superman stopped him. Superman, this doesn't make a hero. Clint, you don't know what that bastard caused, let me finish this. Superman, I can't let you kill him. Clint, at an impressive speed even for Flash, was about to pierce Morlun's chest, but he spat out blood and knelt down. Morlun smiled at this and with a golden fire began to recover. Morlun, haha, thanks, nice hair, now tell me where the totem is and I will kill you quickly. Morlun grabbed Clint's head, but he spat on him, then kicked his body, crashing him into a building. Morlun, and what will you heroes do, ha ha ha. Superman knew that he was not weak, and with his heat vision he wanted to harm him, but Morlun with his hand with the golden fruit stopped the attack and returned it. Morlun, ha 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 ha, the powers they have do not affect me, only the physical would be able to harm me. Superman, good thing he hit well. Superman landed a blow to his chin, lifting him into the sky, and then a hammered blow brought him back to the ground. Superman, you've had enough. The rest of the League already gave up the battle, but Superman began to retreat. Why? Morlun had a piece of kryptonite in his hand. Morlun, I am your worst nightmares. I didn't tell you what power I have, right? I can see through your worst fears and use them, and it seems that this affects you, ha ha ha. Morlun quickly stabbed Superman with kryptonite, and then began to see the worst fear of all. Note, Superman's worst fear is not his weakness, but in his nightmare they made him weak with kryptonite and they killed his family in front of his eyes and raped his wife. That was his worst fear. Let's say he only saw his weakness in kryptonite, and that is why, in addition to his ability apart from super regeneration, not receiving damage that is not physical, seeing nightmares and his worst fears, he can also create things in addition to being able to project them. Superwoman wanted to go help her brother, but then she saw her worst fear. It was her parents being killed, and she didn't know what to do, and she stood still. Morlun, your mind is easier to manipulate than that of Superman. At that moment, golden smoke came out of Morlun's hands and made each hero see his worst nightmare. But the only one who remained standing was Batwoman. Morlun, what? You surprise me, human, but it's time to die. Morlun was about to cross it, but Batwoman threw a smoke bomb and escaped. Morlun, those tricks don't work on me. End flashback. Morlun was looking for Batwoman and left the heroes in their nightmares, and when he was about to destroy everything with his fire, a tentacle stopped his arm and smiled sadistically. Morlun, totem. Peter, seeing the state of Clint, his suit had finally been corrupted and with it his sanity. He screamed to the sky, and Morlun gave a very sadistic smile and went straight to try to hit him, but Peter sent him flying with his tentacle. All this was observed by Batwoman in hiding, and she went directly to her companions to try to wake them up. This battle was broadcast on TV, and when Peter arrived, everyone started talking about it. Teen Titans Tower. Nobody believed what they saw. Robin was about to order them to leave, but Optimus stopped him. Robin, why we shouldn't go? Optimus, I understand your concern. My father is there too, but he is not in his channels. He can hurt us, and believe me when I tell you that he did not show all his power in the battle against that Darkseid guy. Raven, Robin, if that's true, it's very dangerous. Starfire, but can you calm him down? Optimus, even if I wanted to, I can't. The guy who beat up Morlun is not his blood brother, but he is his brother, and in that home where my sisters clenches his fist, I want to kill him for hurting them, but it's useless. And you, Robin, I showed you something personal just so you would help me. You know his pain. Let him vent. No one spoke again and just limited themselves to watching that fight. Back in the fight. There were clashes against clashes, but Peter was the one with the most advantage due to his anger and fury. Moreland was being cornered by the beast that awakened Peter's mind. There was a shadow next to Peter whispering words to him. Come on, let yourself be consumed by anger and show the monster who you are. Peter just listened, and on the outside he became more aggressive and was ravaging Moreland. Each time his way of fighting was much more wild and aggressive. But then someone touched Peter's shoulder, and he looked, and it was his uncle. Ben, hello son. Peter, Uncle Ben starts crying. Ben, I see that you grew up and have many children, haha, you don't know how much joy I feel about that. Peter, dude, I don't know what to do. Everyone left me. I'm scared of being alone again. Don't listen to him, just let yourself be consumed by anger. Ben, shut up you damn abomination, my nephew won't hear anything from you, he's not a monster, he's a hero or not. Peter, you're right, I hope you forgive me for letting myself be guided so easily by anger. Ben, don't apologize, come give your Uncle Peter a hug. Ben opened his arms and Peter hugged him with all his strength, and that black place lit up with a glow. Out of Peter's mind. Peter's body remained still and Moreland tried to take advantage, but a tentacle stopped him and Peter hit him with his arm. Peter, how long, Moreland? The eyes of the formerly red suit turned blue as they should always have been. Peter, how do we start, and tell me how you got here? Chapter 17, The Truth. Peter was in front of Moreland and his tentacles were holding his forelimbs. Peter, and tell me how you got here, and how you are still alive. Moreland, Totem, I finally see you and not that beast. Peter, beast? Don't change the topic, Moreland. Moreland, ha ha ha, as confident as ever. Insect. Peter, spiders are arachnids, not insects. Moreland smiled and a kryptonite sword appeared on Peter's back and he was about to be impaled if it weren't for the fact that he let go of Moreland and jumped back. Peter, and who says an old dog doesn't learn new tricks? Moreland, I will be your worst nightmare. Moreland's eyes began to glow golden and golden smoke began to rise from the ground. Peter, this is not good. Moreland began to disappear and appear in different places. At that, Peter, without looking, stopped a blow from Moreland. Peter, when will you understand spider sense? Moreland, of course I understand. Moreland threw a golden powder in his eyes. Peter wiped his eyes, but he didn't feel any different, but he received a blow from Moreland that made him crash into a wall. Peter, my spider sense, I think I trusted a lot, so that's what that powder was for. Tell me where you bought it, maybe in Colombia. Tell me the address so I can see if they have anti-vampire repellent. Moreland, damn insect. Moreland began to disappear and appear very quickly to try to attack Peter. But this battle was not like that time. No, Peter seemed to be dancing while subtly dodging the attacks. Moreland, stop moving, you damn it. Peter, okay, my vampire friend. Peter stopped, and when Moreland was about to hit him, Peter stepped aside and put his foot in it, causing him to fall. Peter, this isn't funny anymore, it's sad. Moreland was about to stand up and attack but was held by Superman. Superman, hello friend. Superman hit him with a punch that left him unconscious. Peter, how did they get out of their nightmares? In the shadows, Batwoman appears. Batwoman, there's a villain who does something similar. Peter, okay, I'm leaving. Peter was about to leave but was stopped by the entire league. Batwoman, you're going with us. Peter, okay. Time skip. They were all getting off a ship. Peter, and why do they use a ship if most of them fly, if not all of them? Superman, you see it is. Batwoman, just by looking at him he fell silent. Peter, I get it, she's the boss. Jessica, what makes you think that? Peter, I don't know, let's say she orders and you obey, miss. Jessica, tell me, Green Lantern, my identity is secret. Peter, yes, I understand. They continued walking until they left Moreland in a kind of prison and some bracelets that kept him paralyzed. After that, they took Peter to an interrogation room. Peter, what do you want to know? Jessica, who are you? Peter, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wonder Woman, where do you come from? Peter, from my house. Jessica, and where is your house located? Peter, next door is my neighbor's. Jessica, and your neighbors? Peter, you wouldn't believe me. Superman, tell us. Peter, next to my house. Batwoman got fed up with this and knocked over the table and stared at Peter. Batwoman, I'm tired of your little games. Batwoman began to remove her mask. Peter, you will regret what you see. Batwoman, I don't care. Batwoman removed the mask. Everyone was surprised to see another mask. Flashing, ha 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 ha. Flashing was dying of laughter on the floor, and that tried Batwoman's patience even more. At that, a portal opened and Dr. Destino came out. Dr. Fate, I think it would be best to leave him alone. Batwoman, why? Dr. Fate, his power, he emanates an energy that is not natural to our world and has many ties tied to him. Peter used his body to cover himself. At that point, they were all transported to a movie theater. Peter, okay, let's go again. All the DC heroes were drawn to this place. The presents, it's nice to see you kids, it's time for you to know who our guest is. Location, Marvel Universe. Only destruction could be seen throughout the city of New York. And why? Simple, the girls achieved their goal, a portal to travel where Peter. At that moment, when they turned on the machine, the whole city was left without light. Nobody understood what was happening, but in a hidden place the girls were happy for the portal. But a shadow came out of the darkness. All the girls stood on guard and looked at Morlun with surprise and some fear. Morlun, they made my job much easier. Magic, why you? Morlun, ha 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 ha, I will finally be able to absorb the totem. Morlun was dying of laughter, but then he was hit and sent flying by Hope with some of the power of the Phoenix. After that, a battle occurred, well, not a massacre where Morlun humiliated them. In the end, all the heroes went to seek the scare but were massacred. On the ground were all the heroes. Morlun was about to go to the portal, but a piece of metal stuck in Morlun's liver. This one looked angrily at the sky, seeing Doom. Doom, no one will touch Spider-Man's city while Dr. Doom is standing. Behind Doom's back appeared the Chaos Brigade. Kraven, if the Chinese eat vampires, why don't I? Your vampire will be Kraven the Hunter's dinner. Kraven looked at the fourth wall. Kraven, today we will make a delicious vampire dish, ha ha ha. The battle for Morlun was very difficult due to the great coordination of the Chaos Brigade, but they were missing something. That was Norman, with whom they would have defeated him a long time ago, but without him they were hollow. Morlun managed to decipher the weak point they had and managed to defeat them, but very wounded, and went to the portal and crossed it. Then the portal turned off, leaving all the heroes behind. With the DC Universe. Everyone at DC was in awe of Peter's exploits, and many, if not all, of the women were dying to be with the arachnid. Why am I lying? They wanted to have him all to themselves, and they already looked very challenging with each other. Peter, what did I get myself into? At that, Optimus in his human form approached his father and handed him a box of condoms. Peter, and this? Optimus, if they're going to grape you, at least have protection. I still don't want brothers. Peter, what did I get myself into? Peter swallowed hard as he watched each heroine eat him out with their eyes. Superman, well, who's hungry? Superman and a few men were transported to a restaurant, and only Peter was left there. Peter, hey Daddy? You're not going to leave me here with these girls who are hotter than the sun, are you? TOAA, look at the time, it's already very late, I better go. The presents, I'll take you home, Peter. Peter, thank you. Peter was transported to a desert island. Peter, hey? At that, all the women appeared around him. Peter, what's up? Well, let's run, he said to himself. Peter was about to take a big leap, but to his surprise they were weak. Peter, or not. Girls, or yes. Peter started running while all this was seen by the presents and TOAA. TOAA, you are evil, the presents. The presents, what do you want me to say? It would take them a long time to take the first step. I just gave them a push at this step. We will be grandparents in the week I gave them, ha ha ha. Chapter 18. A Very Curious Island. Peter was on an island. It had a lot of vegetation, and he saw the group of heroines around him. Peter, they want to talk. Peter didn't hear anything but was surprised not to feel like he was being tied up or anything like that. If not, Jessica created some chairs and a table to talk. Peter, that easy. They all looked at this scene in surprise, but he looked a little scared. Martha, yeah, it's not like we're going to grape you or anything like that, right? Girls. Supergirl, true, who would do something like that to win over a guy? Peter, that's great, good thing you want to talk. Peter started a very friendly chat with each girl and getting to know each other. Peter, and that would be all. Raven, and how do you do that? Peter, do what? Raven, hold back your feelings. I tried some time ago to hold back my emotions for fear of my father escaping. Peter, hey, they talk about that, I don't know. I thought there were people in danger, and if I didn't do anything, who would do it? Yes, I think so. All the girls doubted those words, they weren't lies, but they felt that he wasn't telling everything. Peter, well, how do we get off this island? Jessica, flying. She was wearing her ring, but suddenly it went out, and she would have hit the floor if it weren't for Peter who held her, and they were in a somewhat romantic pose. In that they watched as little by little they all lost their powers. All but Peter lost his power. Zatanna, is this weird? They all started to see their hands somewhat strange. At that point a small earthquake was felt. Peter, damn, I hope we're not near Chile. At that a great roar was heard as if it were a gigantic beast. Peter, Batwoman, did you ever find this island or did you have it registered? Martha, call me Martha. Peter, after all we know everything about you. Peter, it's true, Martha. Martha, well, this island was never registered. I guess it is located in the famous Bermuda Triangle because even my satellites could not see anything around here due to interference. Martha said all this while looking at a cell phone, but it had pure static on its screen. Peter, who or what shouted like that, follow me? Peter started walking, but suddenly he knelt down and spat blood, scaring his companions. Raven, what happened? Peter, maybe using that power too much, which I'm not used to, caused some internal damage to my body. Forget about it and let's move on. We have to find a cave or something to cover ourselves. Looks at the sky, it might rain. Starfire, but it's sunny. 15 minutes later. They were all wet in front of a campfire that Peter had lit. Martha, that's scary. They all nodded. Peter, it's something I learned from my aunt. They all understood and left the subject aside. Jessica, where are we going now? Peter, I don't know, we have to keep moving because that thing has to look for us. Superwoman, how are you so sure? Peter, a feeling. Superwoman, my name is Clara. Yes, I know it's very similar to my brother Clark. Peter, okay, well Clara, I doubt it's just a creature. Oh, what? Peter, something in my head tells me there are many more. At that Peter curled up into a fetal position while holding his head. Peter's mind. X, I found you, darling. Out of your mind. Peter screamed to the sky as a small trickle of blood came out of one of his eyes and he fell unconscious. Meanwhile, in the place where they left Morlin, he was trying to break his chains, but out of nowhere his eyes began to glow a very bright gold. X, you failed me, and now he's with those hitches. Morlin, but your power was Inu. Morlin did not finish the sentence as he began to convulse and a golden shadow emerged from his body. X, if you want something, do it yourself. The figure disappeared into the ground. Time skip 1 day. Titan's Tower. Robin and Optimus were playing a fighting video game. Robin, do you know where the girls are? Optimus, with my father, or where they sent him. Robin, but they are not very young. Optimus, my father returned to his 18th birthday. He is young and maybe that will help him, although with his previous appearance he would leave them more than in love. Robin, I have no proof of that, but no doubts either. At that, Optimus gave Robin an okay. Optimus, you're missing a lot. Robin, in anger, threw the remote control out of the building's window and hit a seagull that was flying around there. With the Justice League. Superman, guys, do you know anything about the others? Martian Manhunter, I guess our creators sent them with Peter Parker aka Spider-Man. Then Clint came in with some popcorn and a cast on his foot and left. Superman, so you came. Clint, yes. Shazam, yesterday you dedicated a lot to your wife or not pajamin. Shazam started laughing like crazy since his mentality was that of a young man. Superman laughed a little and laughter started to ring out as Clint also laughed at that joke. With the girls and Peter. This one was on top of a pile of leaves, improvising a bed. Clara, what happened to him? Martha collided head-on with him, leaving the others somewhat jealous. Martha, it's boiling. Zatanna, so much that it could fry Hollow End in it? Martha just nodded her head. Clara, what do we do? Martha, find some plants, bring a little bit of everything and I will separate the medicinal ones from the poisonous ones. Don't forget to use gloves or something to bring them. They all nodded. Clara jumped in a pose to fly but fell to the ground. Clara, of course without powers. Martha, go in groups of 2 or 3. They all started to leave while Peter in his mind was walking in an endless white hallway. Peter, hello? Is anyone here? Peter then saw the silhouette of a girl with a tail. Peter wanted to follow her but she disappeared and a door was in front of him. Peter, what is this? Chapter 19, Memories of? Peter was in a white hallway with metal doors but then he walked into one by accident. He saw a very beautiful landscape. Peter, wow! In that he looks like a child with a tail? This one seemed to have some wounds and bruises. Peter was quick to help the boy but when he tried to touch him, he passed through him like a ghost. Peter, what? Peter began to look at his hands but then the boy stood up with difficulty and limped away. Then Peter reappears in the white space. Peter, what was that? Then another door appeared in front of him that said Shitty Life. Peter, how convenient. Peter entered the door and appeared in what looked like a town but the people had characteristics that differentiated them from humans, such as tails, wings, among others. Peter was surprised but saw the boy as a member and went to see what was happening. In that he saw how almost everyone looked at him with hatred and he just walked with his head down. At that point he began to receive blows from stones that people were throwing. One left a large wound on the child's head that began to bleed. Peter became so angry at this scene that his eyes emanated blue energy. Change of scene. Now we see the young man in front of several girls who seem to be his family. Godzilla, disgust son. X, yes mother? The child trembled under the very cold gaze of his mother and sisters. Godzilla, you are too weak to belong to this family and be called like us, someone who bears the name of the leader. Godzilla, you are very weak. That left me in shock since by birthright he deserved to be the leader. X, be you but mother. Godzilla stood up and hit the poor young man in the stomach, making him spit blood. Godzilla, stop calling me that, you nuisance. I want you to leave and not show your face in this house. At that she left there with all the others. In the room there was only a small young man who was crying his eyes out seeing how everyone treated him like that, just for not showing any fighting ability or power. He stopped with difficulty and withdrew. Peter was watching this scene remembering old memories. Change of scene. We see the poor young man being beaten by a mob of people who used everything to hurt him. After that they were satisfied with such an act and left. The boy had the word weak written on his back and one of his eyes was no longer there. The young man just looked at the sky asking any deity for mercy. But then a young lady took him away on her back and everything went black. Peter could only denounce seeing these scenes that caused him great hatred. Change of scene. The young man woke up and saw how a young lady with wings was healing him. X, who are you? Mothra, I am Mothra. Young man, a pleasure. Mothra, do you have a name? Young man, I am not worthy of anyone. Mothra, I see, how about I call you Yoko? Young man, Yoko? I like it. Now the aforementioned Yoko gave a big smile for being treated well for the first time in his life and not being seen as a simple hindrance. Peter saw this with a smile, but saw that he was already very lucky. This will not have a good ending. Change of scene. We see two young people walking. These two were in human form walking through the streets of a city called Tokyo. Peter, this must be another universe or Earth. At that point, some criminals wanted to take Mothra to a remote place, but Yoko, with a very sharp look, made them leave. Mothra, you take good care of me, Yoko. Yoko, sure, you're like my sister. Mothra, just sister. Yoko, huh? Mothra, nothing, forgotten. Change of scene. We see a Yoko walking through his homeland with his true form being seen badly by everyone, but then he overhears a conversation. Behemoth, do you know what Mothra will do today? Scylla, no, what are you talking about? Behemoth, the queen gave the order to kill her useless son. Scylla, they're finally going to get rid of that useless guy, but what does Mothra have to do with it? Behemoth, she will guide Godzilla in his death. In this they both have each other, but Yoko had tears for this and went to the house she shared with Mothra. Peter looked at this with great sadness, as he was just a spectator. Change of scene. Mothra cooked and Yoko just watched this with great sadness, but she had already decided her destiny. Mothra served him a plate of food. He ate it without thinking and pretended to be happy. At that, Mothra said that he wanted to go for a walk, and Yoko gave him a smile and they went, but in the middle of the forest he was impaled by 2 spears. At that, Mothra saw this with a small smile, and Yoko could only give a cry of pain because of that. At that, many people gathered. Godzilla, it seems that today you will die and you know who to thank. Yoko, to my friend Mothra, or am I wrong, queen? For some reason, the fact that he called her queen and not mother hurt her. Mothra, how? Yoko, how do I know? I just knew I was going to die, and if I escaped, maybe they're chasing me and I'm weak. I just wanted to be with my only friend for a little longer. Mothra was unfazed by this but wanted to shed some tears. Yoko, I would have at least had 1 child, but it seems that it won't be possible. I don't know what they told you about me, but I forgive you and I wanted to say something, but I love you. At that moment Yoko's heart stopped, and there was a great silence. At that, Yoko's body began to disintegrate into a blue dust. Godzilla, everybody go away. End of scene. Peter looked at this with a lot of hatred towards those people and even more towards Mothra, since she seemed to be someone he could trust. But that was not the end, as Peter saw Yoko's body begin to form at the bottom of the sea. This one was just sleeping. Time skip a few years. From outer space came King Ghidorah to rule everything. And the kaijus had to show themselves to the human world, and with their combat form they managed to fight something, but it was very powerful, and they achieved almost nothing. But from one moment to another, from the bottom of the sea a creature emerged that looked like Godzilla, but this one was bigger, and with much effort and blood he managed to defeat Ghidorah and fell unconscious, returning to his human form, the form of Yoko. Time skip. Yoko woke up in a human hospital, and was worried because if they discovered him they would use him for experiments. But then his mother came through the door. He was scared by that, and went to a corner asking for forgiveness, and not to be killed. His mother saw this with great sadness, and gave him a hug. And Peter, is that all? At that point the white space began to break and Yoko came out. Peter, you? Yoko, yes. Peter, what did I see? Yoko, a part of my life. Peter, part? It's not all. Yoko, don't make me laugh. Peter, well, why did you teach me that? Yoko, they are coming back. Peter, coming back? I don't understand. Yoko, I can't tell you, but there's only one way to avoid the destruction of everything. Peter, which one? Yoko, be one. Peter, weren't we united? Yoko, I only gave you a part of my power, but to be one, you will have to be my reincarnation. Our essence will unite into one, what do you say? Peter, if it's for the good of the universe, I'll do it. Yoko placed 2 fingers, one on her head and another on her chest, and this disappeared into blue dust and joined Peter. Peter, I don't feel different. At that, Peter rose and began to throw rays from his mouth and eyes, giving a cry of pain. Yoko, you'll see how I got to this point, and why I chose you as my successor, Peter. Chapter 20, Living Another Life. Location, New York. Oda was looking at his hands, somewhat surprised because they were the same as Yoko's, so he ran to a window and looked at his face, surprised. That was not his face, it was Yoko's appearance. Peter, what happened? The only thing I remember was... Flashback. Yoko, you'll see how I got to this point, and why I chose you as my successor, Peter. End flashback. Peter, so that happened, but what should I do? Then Peter was walking through the streets. Peter, this is very similar to my New York. At that point he started to tremble and remembered that he was in the hospital and his mother was asking for his forgiveness, but he put on his clothes and left quickly and arrived at an alley where he woke up. Peter, what hypocrites they are. At that he continued walking without seeing that someone was watching him from a distance with purple eyes and a very psychopathic smile. You will finally be mine, and this time I will not make mistakes. This shadow took out a pair of wings and disappeared. At that same moment Peter turned his head, looking at the place where that shadow was. Peter, how strange. Peter went on and looked for a place to live and found a small place with a good price. Peter, now I have to get a job, but what did you mean, Yoko? What should I understand? Peter stopped thinking about the matter and decided to turn on the television, and saw on the news how the government was recognizing the existence of the kaijus. Peter, what's going on here? TV. President, and with this we sign a contract that says that the kaijus will be allies of the humans. At that point the audience started to applaud, and then Godzilla appeared, or as his real name is, Grace. She walked to the stand, drawing the men's attention, and signed the agreement and gave a few words. Godzilla, on the honor of my family I swear that we will protect humans and take Ghidorah captive. At that point people began to cheer and shout his name. Godzilla, but in exchange I want the help of all of you and the government. I want to get my son back. The one who stopped Ghidorah doesn't want to see us for a personal reason, but I want to find him and reconcile with him. At that she took a photo that they focused on. End of transmission. Peter was angry and his eyes were shining along with his mouth. Peter, personal matter? Is killing me a personal matter, you damn hypocrite? Then he saw many police officers surrounding his new house. Peter, damn landlord. Then he saw how they were entering the house, and so as not to attract attention he decided to escape. He was jumping on the roofs of giant buildings while thinking about where to go. Peter, I think going to the desert isn't such a bad idea. While he was landing, he was intercepted by a person who made him crash into a building. Peter sharpened his gaze and concentrated power in his hands. Peter, show yourself if you don't want to lose your life. In the shadows appeared someone that Peter would never have wanted to see. It was Mothra. Mothra, you're the same as the day I lost you. At that Peter, without thinking twice and by instinct, tried to pierce his chest like a certain Cyclops XD. But she dodged it, and starting to fly she looked at Peter with a strange look. Peter, what do you want? Mothra, what do I want? I just want you all to myself. Chapter 21, Negotiation. Peter heard Mothra's words angrily. Peter, what right do you have to say that to me? You were the one who betrayed me. Mothra, I know I have no excuse, but I apologize. At that she knelt down. Peter, sorry? You apologized to me after breaking my trust and plotting to kill me, you're a hypocrite. At that Peter walked back, ready to leave that place. Peter, I hate you and that will never change. In that he went jumping between buildings, leaving a Mothra full of tears in her eyes, but after that she gave a scream full of hate and hit the ground that cracked and created a small crater. Mothra, it's your fault, damn hitch, you made me do that to me, beautiful Yoko, But he will come back to me and I don't care what I have to do, even if I have to sell my soul to the devil himself. I will get you back no matter what it costs me, ha 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 ha. Peter felt a small chill as he continued to jump. Peter, why do I feel déjà vu? Time skip. Peter looked bored at the streets of New York while sitting on a gargoyle. Peter, I got so used to stopping villains and crimes or doing business, but I can't because of my identity, but I don't know why those hypocrites keep looking for me. In that he dodged a blow from Mothra. Peter, now what do you want? Do you want me to hit you again? Mothra, oh honey, what things you say, I want you to hit me but in a different way. Peter, you are crazy. Peter was about to leave but was intercepted by the people he hated the most. His ex-family and some girls who betrayed him, Peter, what do you want? Godzilla, hello son. Peter, son? Let me tell you something, I'm an orphan, my mother died when I was born and I never knew my father, do you understand? Godzilla, oh but hi. Peter, I'm not your damn son. That scream caused a deadly silence. After that Peter was about to leave but Bahamut forbade him to pass. Bahamut, you can't talk to our mother like that, brother. Peter, brother? Let me tell you, you bucking brat, that I have no brothers. I lived, grew up and will die alone, although I think you almost did the last thing. At that everyone lowered their heads in shame, but Peter cared little and with a sharp and cold look he continued walking, pushing his sister. Nobody dared to do that, but Godzilla said something that stopped Peter from walking. Godzilla, the thing is with Ghidorah, we captured her on our island but she demands to see who defeated her or else a war will start again. Peter, so? Do you think I care about the lives of the people who humiliated and tortured me as a child? Godzilla, it doesn't only affect us but also humans, you know there were many dead, imagine another revolt like that. Peter, and you can't beat her or the great almighty Godzilla can't and the useless me can. Godzilla just bowed his head. Peter, that's what I thought, you're weak. And when he was about to leave he said, I will come in a few days.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.